Where is it? Where's the damn thing? Back up here. Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. There you are, game. There you are. And there you are, everybody. Hello. Hello. Welcome in, welcome back. Poncho Smith here. And as promised, we are going to, remainder of Analogue, the hate story. The very first game I played officially, for streaming purposes. As I mentioned before, there were a few test streams. Prior to that, a few soft opens. But this was the real deal. This was the official start of the streams. The official start of me doing this as a regular thing. Or at least I thought it was at the time. There were some hiccups. There were some start and stops. You know how it goes. I've been able to get things a little more stable in the last couple of years, specifically. And I'm happy about that. But we're going back to the roots. We started this back on the 1st of the month. So let's see what we can do here. We're gonna go to restore. So when we left off, we had encountered Mute. Come on, load for me. And I think we cleared out all the blocks with her. At least with respect to that. Got some helpful notes here. Smith family tree. Okay, well, I think that speaks for itself, doesn't it? That's what a genealogy is supposed to look like. Hope that's more helpful. I think with some of the other trees, she took a few pot shots at Hume. Let's see, and I think that's everything we have here. Not sure if there's anything else we can encounter her with. Oh, I don't think... Did we show everything to her? Alright, okay. So most of what we read with Mute last time was one of the noble ladies getting it on with, one of the, servant girls, one of the courtesans, I suppose. Basically a whole fuckload of lesbian smut. So I'm not sure if we got through all of this for her, though. Well, she admits that it's pretty messed up, at least. Sure, she was a lonely old woman, but I don't know. I just don't get it. Not as if she's wrong about the whores. Okay, yeah, that. She's a bit of a judgmental type. I mean, the men all seem to find her really attractive. Well, whatever, I'm repeating myself at this point. Totally don't get it. You get the picture. Anyway, I'll let you get back to reading. Yeah, so let me try to clear out what I can here. How much of Mute's, how much flavor text is remaining. Oh, my feelings are so confused. Oh, yeah, I'll say. Incredibly confused by the sound of it. I guess that's what you'd expect from an uneducated whore, though. Anyway, I'll let you get back to reading. Yeah. What else? I think we did that. Okay. Okay, we did that unsent letter. Did we check my art is? My art is wiki art is. Okay, I think we may have exhausted all of our options here. Alright, was there anything we could do for the other blocks? Okay, she can talk about some of this. Let's see her take on that. That's actually from before I knew her. It's pretty hard to imagine her as a blushing newlywed, honestly. She was an awfully good friend of mine. We chatted a lot. Look, I mean, don't get me wrong, she did a lot of things that were really wrong and really gross. I don't condone that, and I definitely don't understand it. Not that it could be cheating or anything. It's not like you can have love with just women, but still. Gross. Oh, mute. But please look past all of that. Like, yes, she was a bad wife, but you have to understand, it wasn't her fault. Okay, so she's not going to, it's not an automatic given that she's going to throw the ladies under the bus each and every time. So she is showing a little bit of restraint in that respect. Okay. It's like what I reported to my mistress, Ryu Jaehua. None of the problems in her marriage were her own fault. She was just the wife of a lousy man, plain and simple. Mostly, she tried to do the best she could. She was a really great woman, so please don't look down on her, okay? I mean, if you were already friends with Mute, I guess she tended to give you a little more leeway. Okay, got nothing there. Proper damn gentleman. Okay. I think we read about this fellow. Well, this is what I told him at the time. I could have maybe, done without the description of her breasts, but that kind of story was definitely pretty common for him. The part where he cleaned up after his family's mess, I mean, not the details about immoral-looking common women. And, well, the drinking, too. But look, the part he had good cause for. Sure, it was his ruin, but you can't blame him for that. I mean, the stuff he had to put up with, if you had it like that, I'm sure you'd do the same. Wasn't all that bad, really. We'd spend a lot of evenings drinking together, talking long into the night. Well, he would anyway. Obviously not so much drinking on my part. But he was the kind of man who'd still pour a glass for you all the same. So that whole sarcastic thing about him being a proper gentleman, it's not sarcastic, he really was. Well, he was being sarcastic, but still. He totally, absolutely was the best damn gentleman around. See, if she liked you or if you were her drinking buddy... Okay, so this is the situation with the child in wedlock. The child made out of wedlock. Hi, Magistrate Smith's song, huh? Well, as High Magistrate, he was one of the highest-ranking officials until just before the end. I don't want to paint a misleading portrait. As I understand, he was a very just man and performed his function quite well. It was politics that caught up to him in the end. It's like I reported to my mistress Ryu Jaehua. He might have been a good magistrate, but his family conduct was less than the pinnacle of virtue, to put it mildly. But how many wives a man takes is no business but his own. It's not the quantity, it's the quality, apparently. And he never did anything illegal, but knocking up courtesans owned by the court? Man, that's just bad politics. And well, you saw that kind of neglect, what that kind of neglect did. It forced his wife to seek comfort wherever she could find it. And so that's why he lost his position. Years of embarrassment in the family finally culminated in him turning into a real liability for the Emperor. But it wasn't always like that. Here, let me try to paint an even portrait of him for you. I've added an assortment of logs about him. I hope this gives a good idea of what I mean. Alright, let's have it. I'm going to assume that's in a different block. Okay, block 4. Let's take a look-see. Hold on, where was the... Hold on, what's new? Oh, that's not new. Where the hell am I looking? Okay, we got some new ones. Got some new pieces here. Letter to Saint Min. Oh, dearest brother of mine, as I'm sure you know, it's been 3 years since my husband died. I still mourn him in my heart, of course, and I'm sure I will forever, but the official mourning period's over. You probably also know that the Huang family isn't doing very well right now. Terribly, in fact, and it only got worse when my husband died. It didn't help that we only had daughters, so I don't exactly have a son to look after me. Right now, I'm completely at the mercy of his parents, and well, as I said, no son. They only took me in because of that big dowry. They sure never liked me, and it's only gotten worse. Way worse. So I need you to help me out, Mean, or they're just going to abandon me. Do you remember that story we read together as a child? About that widow who had turned to begging? I'm sure you remember how it ended. Well, that's going to be me at this rate. Don't worry, though, I have a plan. I've talked to my husband's brother about this, and I've also managed to discreetly fish some information out of his parents. They'd be willing to let me get married to him, and all you need to do is chip in a new dowry. 1.5 times the old one would be enough. Please respond as soon as possible, little brother, because I really need your help here. Love, Sang-hee. See, he wasn't always that bad. He was an embarrassment and far from a pinnacle of We've been over this. I didn't think that highly of him, but at the end of the day, it was about politics, not his character. Okay, no little blurbs at the bottom to be concerned with here. Okay, we've got the response. Okay, Sister Sang-hee. Calm down. They may not be nice, but I'm sure they're not going to kick their son's widow out on the street. Do you have any idea how terrible that would look for them? It would be a huge disgrace on their name. As for remarrying, I'm sorry, but that's a lot of money you're asking. Besides, you know how much remarriage is looked down upon. Chaste widowhood may be a difficult standard to hold yourself to, but you will be honored forever if you can manage it. And if anyone is good enough to live up to that standard, I know it's you, big sister. I wish I could give you an easier way out, but I hope you realize it's for the best that way. Okay, so that plan kinda fell apart. Okay, here's the letter 2. Alright, gotta grease him up with the honorable language, oh generous and benevolent young brother of mine. I know you think I'm being hysterical and exaggerating. I'm not, I promise. It's funny you mentioned the importance of chaste widowhood because they're talking about that too. Of course, I don't think you've got the same ideas in mind. They're talking about the sort that ends in an honorable suicide. Actually, they've been talking about it a lot. We could, of course, go with that option. Take my own life to honor his memory. Would you like to help me out with that? I'm not really very good either at holding knives or tying nooses ever since the arthritis got serious. When did this arthritis set in? Is she 26 years old as well? 26 with arthritis. For that to happen, they probably gotta be feeding all the women like literal table scraps instead of actual food. But if you could help out, that plan could work. If you're too busy to help your sister kill herself, though, you could just do the next best thing and send that dowry. I'm sure somehow you'll manage to find out a way to find the money. I have faith in you, little brother. I remind you again, of course, that appealing to that family's honor is a waste of time. Father married me to a merchant, remember? You're talking about honor, but trust me, I lived in this house for over 2 decades, and they looked everywhere, even under the sitting cushions. They just don't have any. Or I've looked over for all the cash, all the money. They got nothing. Zilch. Nada. Nunca. So I'm going to ask you once more, little brother. You can either send a new dowry, or failing that, come by with a nice sharp knife. But if you can't bring yourself to do at least one of those things, then my destitution is on your head. Do you think Father would be proud of that? You are the son. You tell me. With love, your sister, Sang-hee. Alright. Alright, now this is a perfectly fine mess that we've gotten ourselves into. Sister. Alright. You are going to be the death of me, but I won't be the death of you. Fine, I'll figure something out. Tell his parents that I can offer them as much as the old dowry. I'll send a messenger by next week to work out the delivery of it. You're such a woman, do you know that? Manipulative to the core, that's what you are. The death of me, I swear. Okay. Okay, and this is where he got sacked. This is where he lost his position. Let's get some flavor text here. Oh yes, him. Would you like to hear about how I feel about Smith Kyung Sam? Hit me. And let me be as clear as I possibly can. Fuck that guy. I know I shouldn't say that about a man, not least of all a dead one, but I don't care. He didn't have any respect for the dead either, so as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't deserve any from me. There's nothing more even related to him that you need to see. All he ever did was complain about the main branch and trash the good name of a good man. That's all you need to know. Okay. Well, good job on holding nothing back. And, We're missing a little something there. Okay, and I wonder if I can poke around. And try... Okay, pack of idiots. Okay, and this is just more observations on the fall of this family. Look, you already know what I think of Smith Kyung-sam. He was a piece of shit. Don't listen to a word he says. That isn't what Smith Sang-jung was like at all. His death was a tragedy, and for a lesser man to make light of it. It's appalling is what it is. Can you believe his nerve? Fine, Sang-jung never married, and he liked to drink. Maybe a little more than what was good for him. But he was a great man, clever, charming, filial, and respectful. Look, he wasn't perfect. He was as damn close as you could get, though. Do you want to know what he was really like? Don't listen to a single word from the likes of Kyung-sam. Here's a more fitting description. I've added some logs that actually do him some justice. You really should read them. Alright. So we'll back out of there, and that should fill out... Huh. Okay, we're still missing that little blip in block 4. Where do I need to look? She might have done that already. Tell you what, we'll grill her on block 5 in a little bit. See anything there? Okay, can't really get anything new out of that one. How about block 9? What do you got for me here? That's strange. Wonder if... Let's see. Okay, let's see how she reacts to this. Oh wow, Queen Ryu's admonitions to the new bride. That really brings back memories. Okay, so do you want to know more about the admonitions to the new bride, or Queen Ryu Jae-hwa herself? Right, so her admonitions then. Well, when your parents do find you a wife, your mother probably has a set of these prepared for her, assuming she knows how to write at least. Anyway, the point is it's considered fairly typical for a new gentleman's bride to get a series of verses explaining what will be expected of them as a wife, as well as just friendly advice. Well, the reason why these ones aren't written in verse is pretty simple. I guess it's because the Queen Ryu Jae-hwa had absolutely no ear for it. Honestly, personally, I think that's pretty endearing, but she was really worried about the pale bride since she was a younger, prettier girl for her husband and all, so she wanted to make a really strong impression. I suggested to her that she do what she was good at, and just write them in prose, since if she was as uneducated as I thought she would be, and she was, it's not like she'd know any better anyway. Well, I guess that backfired a little, since it turned out she was so uneducated that she didn't actually even know any letters. Whoops! Anyway, let me just give you a giant info dump and pass along all the admonitions for yourself to see. Or for you to see yourself. Alright, yeah, just dump them right in my lap. Marital admonitions 1. Okay. To the woman who will marry my husband, as you are doubtlessly aware, it is traditional for a noble man's mother to write poetic admonitions to be sent to the bride-to-be before she enters the family, explaining the circumstances and proffering, that's a new one for me, proffering advice to her. Sadly, your mother-in-law is long since departed, leaving the responsibility in my hands. Okay, this is Ryu. I never had any such letters sent to me, for reasons I'll explain soon enough, and I have furthermore studied verse only enough to know that I am unable to write it well. Well, she has a bit of self-awareness at least. I hope you do not think less of me, young pale bride. For addressing these letters in plain speech. Instead, rather pay attention to my words over my form, and please do not be hasty. and erasing these letters after reading for your own sake. I hope you find this advice useful and knowledge. I hope you find the advice and knowledge I will impart upon you useful. Okay. Okay, so do you want to know more about this particular admonition? You can learn a little more about the queen. Okay, sure. She was kind of more than just my queen. Well, I guess I have to explain my own position for it to make sense. So, yeah, I appear to be just a woman, but that's just my personal appearance. I'm actually, a computer program. AI, yes, we're pretty familiar with those at this point. So when I say I still am really, in charge of security for the whole ship, I mean it. I was an actual official. I outranked pretty much everyone on the ship, save for the Emperor, and of course, by extension, his primary wife. The head wife, the chief wife. Wife numero uno. None of the side chicks. So I might have reported directly to the Emperor in theory, and I did with the others in the past. Emperor Ryu Inho chose to let that sort of thing go through his wife instead. What this is all getting at is, for all intents and purposes, she was my real mistress, not him. We were pretty close, well, as close as you can be to your better anyway. I liked her a lot. She was actually really intelligent for a woman, and was surprisingly tough for a noble. I know that doesn't really sound attractive, but trust me, with her, it was pretty okay. She managed to be great while still knowing her place. So, yeah, like I said, I liked her a lot. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here, and this is my point. I remember those admonitions because I actually helped her write them. I mean, I didn't write a single word or anything, but she asked me for advice. Mostly, she was just modest. So let me see, I really want you to get the right impression of her, She kind of wrote a lot. Well, nobody's perfect. Oh, we can't have anybody, we can't have them dames being too verbose. Verbose, I suppose. Don't let that cloud your judgment of her, alright? I mean, I'm not impressed either, but at least it means you'll be able to see what she was like. Alright, I've got 3 for you to see. Well, one's actually kind of about me, but still, it just shows you how good of a person she was. If you want to see the rest of the admonitions, let me know, I can do that too. Let's see. Guess I'll poke through the rest of these. Okay, to the woman who will marry my husband. As you are no doubt aware, the Ryu family has an extremely long and proud history. Every man to hold the title Captain and Emperor has always been out of our house, and you are here to make sure that continues for another generation. The name goes all the way back to the ancient times. Mythology speaks of a Captain Ryu who had control of the ship's movement through the stars themselves. Such things remain far removed from everyday life, but it is important to understand the significance of the house, and of the title that your first son will eventually come to inherit. Well, if that sounds kind of simplistic, if that sounds like a kind of simplistic explanation, you have to understand, it's not like anyone had the frame of reference to really get space travel. Even I only sort of barely understand it, and I'm the ship computer. Imagine what it must be like for some barely educated woman in a society that doesn't really understand its technology, only ever having lived inside the ship. So her description of the Captain and Emperor's role is, well, it's a little mythologizing, okay, but it's pretty much accurate, right? Yes, these primitive screwheads. Okay, number 2. Poked through. Okay, to the woman who will marry my husband, it is an obvious matter that I do have the same family name as my husband. The official story, if you have not already heard it, is we are cousins, making our marriage improper and less than ideal, but somewhat acceptable given the circumstances. At the time, there were no noble daughters who had not already been promised or given away in marriage, and obviously a girl of my lesser upbringing could not possibly be suitable as a queen, hence cousins would simply have to do. Strictly speaking, this is all true. The part about there not being any noble daughters available is not a misrepresentation, and as far as any official genealogy is concerned, the Emperor is the son of my father's brother. The part which you may not speak of openly is that he is the old Emperor's son only by adoption. As far as blood goes, my husband is also my brother. As children, we never lived together, and it would, of course, been strictly improper to have spent any time together at that age. I would never say anything such as that my husband actually arranged for there to be no noble daughters to marry, out of his desire to marry me. That would, of course, be such a rather bold move to accuse an emperor of such, but you may wish to consider what the implications might be if such a thing truly did happen. I leave it to you to decide whether or not such a thing is plausible. All I will say is that despite our marriage being one of necessity, my husband has always been very fond of me. Alright, Moot, what do you got? Yeah, that's okay. What she's suggesting, that is gross and wrong and definitely, well, I don't think a bold move even begins to cover what she's saying. I feel bad for saying this. I liked her. We were close. She was a good woman, but my real master was the Emperor, and it would be a disservice to give her a pass on this. She was way over the line here. I think it's damned irresponsible of her to have even considered telling the pale bride that. Why would she even need to know? Anyway, I don't even buy the implication. I don't even think it's true. I don't know if you've noticed, but the Mugungua's birth weights are... well, it's not good. They had been bad for generations, but they were just getting worse and worse. Among noble families, they weren't even at replacement rate anymore. That sounds familiar. I have no idea why. Nobody ever really wanted to acknowledge it. So what I'm saying is, even ignoring the fact that he wanted, and her suggestion is just wrong, I don't think the Emperor would have to contrive it so that there weren't any noble daughters of proper age. The simple fact of the matter is, that sort of incest ended up being necessary, and apparently didn't help, since even she couldn't deliver a son anyway. No awful and inappropriate theories are necessary. Okay. So we'll back out of that. Block 10, what do we got left of this? I think Mute's kind of route here is just going over an overview of what the day-to-day life was like for people on the ship. From Hune's perspective, from her perspective, it was just kind of it being from her perspective and how much it sucked. Now we're just kind of getting into, more of a slice of life kind of deal from what Mute's talking about here. Marital Admonitions Part 4. To the woman who will marry my husband as for the responsibilities, your burden will be quite light. You will of course be expected to be the model of feminine virtue, but truthfully I do not expect you will have much trouble with this. So long as you keep your head down, avoid scandal, and keep quiet, that will more than suffice. As far as the day-to-day is concerned, you will have nothing to concern yourself with, as this is the royal family you are marrying into. As queen, I run the management of the house's affairs and will not require any assistance from you in that regard. As part of a royal concubine's demonstration of modesty, just tear that band-aid off, you will have to share my own personal servant and will not have one of your own. While you will not have to be responsible for all housework, be modest and do not remain idle at her expense, you are expected to be as unseen as the servants, and to be voiceful only in the most moderation. Do not speak harshly to your servant, be appreciative of what she does, and not incompassionate. Your one sole responsibility will be spending as much time with the Emperor as it takes to produce a son. After you give birth, you will not need to worry about raising him. I will be there to make sure it is all arranged for. Simply make our husband happy, keep out of sight, and give him a son, and you will have no more to worry yourself with. Well, I guess I'll grant the pale bride one thing. You never had to worry about her speaking out of turn. Really, at the time, she seemed like the perfectly virtuous wife, right up until she snapped at the end. I know, how do you even reconcile that, right? How can someone seem so close to being the pinnacle of feminine virtue, then turn out to be so completely messed up? I still don't get it, not even slightly. Okay, so we're getting more of her feelings on the pale one. Okay, no flavor text here. To the woman who will marry my husband, the virtues which you are expected to demonstrate are simply those expected of any woman, and given your noble upbringing, I will not condescend to treat you as if you do not already know them quite well. You are expected to be quiet and obedient to me, as well as obviously to our husband. Perchance you are scolded, trust my judgment as your elder. I will never act out of anger or spite. If scolded by our husband, always respond with a smile. For your relationship with him must always be warm, and he is a wise man. I do not, however, anticipate such things will be problems. He told me of the interview in which he spoke to you, and had nothing to report at all on your manner of speech, so I trust it was entirely proper and polite. In light of that, I will say nothing further of the matter. As far as ritual obligations go, you have none, save for following in my lead. Both your mother and father-in-law are long dead, so you have no further obligations to them. I had trouble adjusting at first, but I anticipate nothing you could be surprised by. We'll back out of that. We'll go to 6. To the woman who will marry my husband, I will not tell you to avoid court politics entirely, so long as you do not cause trouble, but I will suggest that you simply watch from a distance. The temptation may exist to meddle, especially if you ever talk to the artificial girl Mute, who lives inside her computer. She is a gossip and a friend of the Smith noble family, and is responsible for revealing much of what they try to keep hidden. She may seem fickle, but she does belong to the House of Ryu first and foremost, and is quite loyal. Nevertheless, meddling is not in your best interests. Do not play politics, not only for our sake, but for the sake of being a virtuous wife. Or for the sake of being a virtuous wife, but for the sake of your own family as well. They will receive favor, not through any scheming on your part, but through our husband's will. Entertain yourself with gossip if you wish, so long as you keep quiet about it, but stay out of politics. In the end, you will manage to go much further if you rely on only rewards for being a good wife. She's right in what she instructed the pale bride, but man, I really don't agree with her assertion there. I wasn't a gossip. Look, yeah, I'm a social creature, of course. That's my job. I'm glad that the mistress valued me, but I don't really like the way she's characterizing me as being some chattery, gossiping woman. I was always way better than that. I wish she'd have realized it. Oh, she's doing the pouty face. Pale bride's marriage. What do we got here? My fear of the pale bride, it seems, was unfounded. In my letters to her, I wrote that I was not jealous. A lie, of course. As queen, it is true that I have authority over any of my husband's other wives, but that authority certainly does not extend to his affections, especially since she is a beautiful woman of only 15 years, Jesus Christ, and I am a withered old lady 20 years her senior. Withered old lady at the age of 35. God. I would be a fool not to be jealous. And yet, I am not. Until she officially married my husband, I had only seen her briefly at the formal interview. Aside from her beauty, she had made hardly any impression. But now she is living in my house, and I have seen more of her while she is not busy attending to the Emperor. And I realize now I have no cause for jealousy that is any fault of hers. She hasn't spoken a single word to me, and only looks at me from a distance. At first, I mistook this for arrogance, as she thought me unworthy of her approaching. I realized soon that is not so. I see no smugness in her eyes, nor do I see happiness, nor sadness, nor anything else. She is afraid of me, not the sort of fear that would show in her eyes, the sort of fear that would paralyze or leave her on edge. It is hardly noticeable at all, and yet I can tell that her fear is of resignation, the sort of fear where one simply waits for what one believes inevitable, whatever it is she thinks that I will do to her. She is not afraid that I will be jealous. She knows it and is simply waiting for the consequences. I cannot be jealous of a woman like that. I feel for her. I want her to feel welcome. I want to give her hope that she has clearly lost back. Okay, I want her to give her the hope. I want her to give her that hope back, the hope that she is clearly lost. It is not out of jealousy that I say earnestly that I want her to understand how lucky she is. When I last saw her, I took her aside and said, "Please, you do not have to fear me if you ever wish to talk to me. Please do find me." She said nothing, but she did smile a little. I have seen her smile before, but only in a hollow way, where the mouth moves but no emotion stirs in the eyes. That was not that kind. Or this was not that kind. I can hardly say what the twinkle in her eyes meant, but at least I don't think it was resignation. I hope she talks to me soon, for her own sake. And we have confidence. Okay, when my husband asked what I thought the idea of him taking a new wife, I presented him with the weakest of smiles, but I said I thought it was a good idea if he thought so. that I would be so happy if a younger woman were to relieve me of the pressure of bringing him a son. Oh wait, this was from 2 years earlier. And then she seems to believe she's all dried up at 33. I have no doubt that this is the answer he wanted me to give, with a convincing enough expression to go along with it. If there is one thing I am confident in, it is in my ability to read exactly, what my husband wants to hear. Having heard that the girl he is considering is only 13 years of age, however, it is certain that I can have no confidence in any other thing. He'll take her in a few years, right when she's reached marriage age. She will be at the peak of her beauty and won't have matured too much. Doubtlessly, unlike me, she will have no problem delivering the son he needs. Perhaps jealousy is unbecoming of me, but it is pragmatic too. When we were young, his affections for me were so strong, but now that we are both old in our 30s, how could I possibly compete with a young bride? Let's see, was there anything? Wrote them in straight prose. Okay. I'm pretty sure I cleared all of that out. Alright. Let's scooch back. Okay, morning dress. Let's see. Yeah, we got a new one here. Yeah, from Ryu J. Hua. Normally, my conversations with Mute are of a rather frivolous nature, gossiping the affairs of some of the more important noble houses, as well as her trying to bait whatever she is able to out of me. While I think such a flow of information is valuable, I might so pass news to my husband that he might not otherwise hear, I would not consider her attitude to have any resemblance to seriousness. Previously, I assumed this was simply impossible due to her nature. While I do not really understand how, despite her explanations, anyone could live inside of a computer screen, she says that she is an artificial person. I had assumed that perhaps her absence of a soul prevented her from feeling serious emotions. Ordinarily, she wears an incredibly bold, beautiful coloring, her golden hair absurdly well adorned. For the past month, however, she has been uncharacteristically humble, wearing unappealing brown dress. Not a dress, but brown dress. With her hair undecorated, my curiosity got the better of me at last. Please, I have wondered, why are you so attired? It is unlike you, I asked. She gave me an odd look. Huh? She asked. It's a morning dress. That much was obvious, and not particularly the thrust of my question. Did you not tell me you were thousands of years old and that you have no family? For what reason are you wearing mourning? She gave me an annoyed look. Friend of mine died, okay? No, I didn't have family. It's always just been me. Well, this guy was a really good friend, and he definitely deserves that kind of respect, she said. We were super close. Do you wish to tell me about him? I asked. She gave me another look that I couldn't quite read, but seemed somehow sad. Nah, she said. I don't want to talk about it. Not now. I miss him too much. Hey, I'm going to go now, okay? I'll talk to you later. I said goodbye to her, and she disappeared from the computer screen, but as she did, I could have sworn that I saw her start to cry. Alright, let's hear her reaction to that. Well, yeah. She probably did see me cry. I had a really hard time talking about it then, especially not to my mistress. I really didn't mean to be so vulnerable in front of her. That just isn't proper. It's kind of embarrassing, really. I'm sure you've already guessed, the man in question was Smith Sang-jung. Strictly speaking, there was no real mourning obligation. It's not like I was really family. Still, the man was the closest thing to a husband to me. I mean, don't take this the wrong way, it's hardly scandalous. I'm not a real woman, I'm just a computer. We had a really close relationship, so yeah, I thought it'd be appropriate if I honored him like he was. He never married, so it's not like anyone else would. I just figured the man deserved that much. He totally deserved at least that much. And let me see if I've taken care of everything else here in this particular block. Saying he. Alright, back to the index. Okay, drank himself to death. I think we can press her on some of these. Not that one. Oh, you know, we'll look at this. We'll look at this. Of course, I was on the verge of tears. He meant a lot to me. I mean, you know, I'm just a computer, and he wasn't family or anything, and it's not like I have the body for that kind of relationship. But still, he was the closest thing I had to a husband. We had a really close relationship. I really did love him. I definitely can't forgive her for not sincerely mourning his death or not taking it seriously. He was a great man. I'm just disappointed in her. It really is an awful confession. He really did deserve much better. So much better. Okay, nothing from Legendary Temper. Oh, we got a visit. Okay, this is... Okay, alright. I think I know what this is. Man, reading that, I just can't believe that's her. She used to be so timid. Thinking of me as having a shocking, crass manner, or being afraid of her brother-in-law at the door? Well, it's all what I expected from her at the time. She just changed a whole lot as she got older. Well, honestly, maybe not as much as I thought. She might have gotten bolder behind her husband's back, but in front of him? That never really changed much. Well, what do you think? Should she have listened to Sang-Young about being less deferential to her husband? Well, of course, Sang-Young wasn't wrong, you know. Sure, she's his wife, but absolutely no part of her responsibilities involved getting walked all over. Frankly, it would have been better for her if she just stood up to him a bit. If her husband wasn't being satisfied at home, well, I mean, I feel bad for her, but he was totally right. It is her fault. Either way, well, she did change in some ways. In some ways not for the better, as you've seen with her. With her relationship with Anhor. That's why it amazes me so much rereading something that old, knowing what she would later sink to. Oh well. Okay, back out of there. Okay, so that's blank. Well, not blank, but nothing else to really push on. Okay, to the wife of, let's see. Alright. Alright, well, let's see how she reacts to this. I know it sounds like Sang-Min is just being harsh on his little brother, but I assure you, his characterization of him isn't wrong. I honestly kinda tended to avoid him. I was friends with his older brother's wife, and his younger brother was an absolute gentleman, but he was not a very nice man. Who's the sort of person that the court exams were supposed to keep out in theory? Didn't work, of course. He studied just as well as brothers, or so Sang-Jung told me. Hence, you want to see the usual sort of behavior that you get from Smith Sang-Kyu? I've added another entry, this one by the Kim son. Okay, back out. So let's see. Okay, that's on block 9. The New Bruise. Okay. Dearest mother, I really could use your advice. Husband has been working very late into the night recently, on some business that he won't even share with me. I understand his reluctance to talk to me about things his superior has sworn him to secrecy on, and that damn child has been keeping me plenty busy anyway. But I wish he could tell me. Last night he was out even later than normal, and when he finally did return, he had a black eye. His face and hands bloodied. He looked really bad. The sight of that really scared me. Of course, you of all people know. Come on. But I'm hardly squeamish at the sight of blood. It was how hurt he looked.
I hurried him to the kitchen and started to clean his wounds. I'll admit my voice wavered when I asked, "Husband, what happened?" He was reluctant to answer and grunted in pain when I convinced him to put ice on his bruised eye. He finally did, and you absolutely can't repeat what he said to me. Do you understand? Not a word of it to anyone, not even to Father, but I truly need advice. I had some questions for the High Magistrate's office. He sent his brother, Smith Sang-Q, to answer them. That's the dumb, nasty one, My husband trailed off, thinking. I asked him something that he didn't agree with. I had the moral high standing, but he had the physical high standing. His wound's clean. I didn't know what to do, but touched the uninjured part of his face to comfort him. Then he joked. Turns out, his argument hurt a lot more than mine. But I could tell underneath that he was truly hurt. What do I do now, Mother? What do I do? How is a woman supposed to respond to such an awful thing happening? I've tried to comfort him as best as I can, but I just don't know what else I can do, Mother. Please, you must have some advice. Oh, hey, wait, that reminds me of something else. Well, you know Hana, right? The whore who got herself seduced by Sojin? There's not really a lot of writing from her, but I've got a log entry from Kim Young-suk about her. You probably want to see it. Right, I'll let you get back to it then. But I figure that's probably something you're pretty interested in. And what else we got? We've gone from the new bride to the new bribe. Alright, Kim Sung-yuk. The incident occurred right as I was leaving the magistrate's office after a late night of going through some of his paperwork. The corridor lights long ago had dimmed and the office should have been empty, so the horse linked against the wall right outside definitely stood out. She was small and looked very young, and obviously she was dressed like any commoner, with her arms covering her otherwise exposed breasts and all. I won't lie and say she wasn't attractive, she certainly was. I'm sure she's very good at her role. Hi, the whore said, approaching me. You're Kim Young-suk, right? I said, yes. My name is Hana, she said, offering her hand to shake. It's an honor to meet you. I didn't take it and told her that it wasn't appropriate to be talking to her now. Ah, but I've got a message from Smith Sang-min that he really insisted I deliver, the whore said, moving closer. Can I come inside? I said no, of course. Even then I could tell exactly where this was going and was not pleased. Please, he was really insistent, she said, putting her hand on my face and smiling. I slapped it away and instantly shoved her into the wall. Tell him I said no, I snapped at the whore, and walked away. She chased after me for a while, but eventually she seemed to realize that she wasn't going to get me and gave up. She was gone by the time I got home. I still can't believe he actually thought that would work. Now I want to know more about what the High Magistrates Association with that whore even was. Okay. Alright, do we have anything else here? Just read that. New Brews we already read, I guess. The new friendship. New girl. That's cleared out. New happiness. Don't need to worry about that. New wife, new heir. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's anything. Block 9, I don't have to worry about. We cleared out everything there. Just making sure we cleared out everything in Block 10. That's 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Oh, okay. Your duty may be great, but you will be loved. Okay. Well, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I'm saying that letting Mistress... I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that letting my mistress tell that crazy bitch the admin password was surely the greatest mistake any man has ever made in the entire ship's history. Ha, whoops, didn't realize you'd actually use it. As if anything could have possibly come from trusting that woman with that sort of power. I mean, I'm sure he was counting on her not knowing how to use the computer, rather than being some sort of genius with it, but come on. Well, I'm sure you'll see for yourself soon enough. I can use the computer, whoopsie. And I just want to get that all cleared up. Okay, that was block 10. Okay, it doesn't seem like we got anything to worry about in block 6. Okay, so 10, 9, we're all cleared out there. Okay, 57%. We've got everything in block 4. I just want to check this out now. We're all set there. Great. Contempt. For Emplo, by example. Okay. Yeah, we read this one already. That is with Moot. Well, then we did these letters already, right? What does this say? Hold on, gotta sneeze. Alright. Okay, so that's everything in block 4. Okay, we got some things to look out here. Okay, the egg stuff. All right. So, like, you've talked to her a fair bit, right? What do you think of Hunai? I can't hate her. Seriously? You can stand her? Did she tell you about the whole mass murder thing, or did she conveniently leave that out? No, of course not. I'm sure even that awful bitch is ashamed of what she did. Or maybe she just wanted to impress you. I don't think most men are turned down by that kind of lunacy, so I can see why she'd hide that. I don't know. I know dudes whose standards are through the floor. Probably better that you don't hear it from me, though. I don't think you'd even believe it. Better ask her yourself. Okay, so what I'm going to do is give you an entire block that's full of nothing but questions for her. It might be a little hard to get the whole story out of her, but if you fake sympathy, she'll probably actually believe you. So, there you are, a few questions to give to her, drag the truth out of her, then tell me how crazy you think she is. Okay. So now, I think this is kind of our flag to go back to Hunai. But I do want to check real quick. Yeah, she ain't interested in her in that manner, in that way, really. Okay. Alrighty then. Tell you what, we're gonna put this in an empty slot. Because I know there's a sequence at some point that we gotta do. Okay, let's look at Mute's questions. Question 1. How are you doing? Look, the questions are for her, they're just perfectly straightforward. I don't think I need any explanation. Take them to her yourself, you don't have to take my word for it. Probably best if you hear it straight from the crazy bitch's mouth herself. Question 2. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, dear. Hey, I hate to interrupt you, but I've just noticed we've got a very serious problem here. You've noticed that static on the line, right? I caught it too, but I figured it was no big deal. Well, bad news, it's a big deal. A big deal to the tune of reactor meltdown in progress, in fact. I have no idea what that bitch has been doing with the ship these past 600 years, but whatever it is has caused some serious power strain. So when communications started up, well, looks like that was the tipping point that brought the ship out of low power mode and got the reactor going. The reactor hasn't been maintained in centuries and was under the control of some idiot little girl for nearly as long. I don't suppose you know anything about nuclear fission reactors, do you? Not a fucking thing. Of course, they're probably out of date compared to whatever you're using now, that's okay. Well, here's what you need to do. If you can't get that reactor out of control, then this is going to be catastrophically bad. Probably won't be able to get out of range in time. We're looking at total meltdown in 20 minutes. Clock starts now. Right. Well, I do know how to shut this all down and get everything back to safety again. If you were starting to get worried, well, don't be. When it comes to the safety of this ship, I'm your girl. I'll be here to help you through this as much as you need. The first thing we're going to try doing is just simply using the disable action. I don't think this will work, mind you, but you never know. The ship's been in such a state of disrepair and non-maintenance, it's probably going to be really complicated. Still, try that for me, drop down to the terminal, and just try shutting down the reactor directly. Oh, dear. Okay. Right. Hold one moment. Let's see. Oh, this is, oh dear. Okay. Okay, let's try... Hold on. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's try this. Oh, dear. Alright, Hmm. Insufficient battery. Oh, come on, come on. Let's see. Power control list. Alright, alright. Let's see. What do I want to do now? Alright, but let's try this. Let's try disabling a few things. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, I guess we're just going down the line there. Power underscore control. Disable 4, 5. Core 5, core 6. Alright. Control underscore. How was that invalid? I'm typing it in the same way. Hold on. Okay. So docking has been disabled. What was the other one? What was one of the other ones? Sometimes you just gotta turn off the gravity. Gravity has been disabled. Nice. What's left? What's F? Power control disabled. Rail sensors. Okay, we disabled rail. Sensors. Disable all the waste. There will be no more waste forever and ever. Oh dear. Okay, well, right now, no, not that. We gotta say goodbye to one of our AIs. Which is why I've got a few different, save files going. Let's see. Power control disable. Yeah, this is where it starts to hurt. Well, we just got questions to ask Cune, so we might as well see her deal to the end. I mean, I keep typing disable instead of disable. That's unfortunate. Alright, bye-bye mute. Well, for that file, at least. Oh, what else we gotta do? Okay, reactor disable. Here we go. Now, this will finish up in 8 minutes or so, right? Huh. Okay. Tell you what, let's go back to here. Oh, I see. Oh, we were already... Alright, I get it. Since we're already logged on with mute. Oh, reactor disable. Alright. Noun before the verb. Hold on, what the shit do I do now? When we shut all that down, so what's happening now? Okay. How about we just read the questions? Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's go to the override terminal. Come on. Let's pop over there real quick. Oh, so what can I do for you? Okay. Okay, so it looks like she doesn't have a lot to say about those. Yeah, because she's still grayed out on a lot of that. Alright, I never read her letters at the time. I couldn't. I know she read them to me eventually, but I was just numb to that sort of talk at that point. Now they're just hard for me to read. Let's go over the admonitions. Try to go over as much as we can. Without stuff melting down. Let's see, anything else? I can show her that message. Obviously, she had nothing to worry about. She realized that pretty early on, she was good to me. I really liked her, she was my only friend. It's so weird seeing her say things like that. Alrighty then. Let's see what she thinks of the smut. Oh, so you've read those then. Not that it was seen appropriate for women to spend time with anyone, but other women or anything, but, So, why are you showing this to me? Well, why do you ask? Do you, approve of that sort of thing? Ah, I see. Well, it's when she said she wanted to be seduced. I can definitely really understand that. Especially if it was you. Especially if it... Oh, she did a thing. She did a thing. They did a jump cut. Especially if it was someone I really liked. That sounds like a good thing to me. Not that I could really imagine doing that with any of my servants, but Geez. That's G's number 12, I think. There we go. I want to talk about something else. Any thoughts on the poetry? I said I didn't really want to talk about this more, alright? Hello, Bipner. Hello, Bipner. How you doing? Thank you for the raid. Hello, everybody. How you doing? We're reading more. We're reading more with the AI waifus. We're hashing it out with them. We're trying to get to the bottom of the situation on the ship. How you doing? What did you think of my new raid message? Which really isn't a message at all, it's just a loud car crash sound. Which I worked really hard to find. Because coming into the stream is probably a lot like witnessing a car crash. But anyway. Yes, we're playing Analogue, a hate story. Or rather, reading through Analogue, a hate story. This game holds a very important, special place in my heart, because this was the very first game. Raid message better than braid message. They ain't no point to the game. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so basically, back on January 1st of this year, that was the 10-year anniversary of me actually starting streaming. Yeah, my first stream was January 1st, 2015. And I played this game. Went through this game. So, yeah, I did the 10 years later thing. And, the point of, Braid is, to creeper shame. Well, it didn't really work that well, because Jonathan Blow made more games after that. Anyway. Anywho. 10-year anniversary of me teaching you how to console command. Polly, you should have seen me a couple of minutes ago. Because I was console commanding like a wizard. Like a console wizard. But really, I was just smart enough to command and console. Yeah. I was actually smart enough to read a guide this time. See, I do learn from my mistakes. Oh, we get to hear Apache again. Well, maybe. It's weird. We're now. I'm trying to show some of the stuff to Shune that Mute gave me. Mute was when we sent her like the stuff with the mistress and her mistress's mistress. She's like, ooh, this is shocking. This is deplorable. You want to read more? That was basically Mute. We're showing this to Hyuna, the woman from the more evolved society, and she's like, why are you showing me this? That's just a little detail that I caught on to. Like a pinball. That's... I don't think I ever listened to that album completely, in full. Or at least I found it a struggle to actually get through the entirety of Pinball Wizard. Now, in my defense, I did watch the DVD. I think it was for, like, one of those festivals that they did, where they played, I think they played basically the entire Pinball, the entire Tommy album in its entirety. It was on a DVD, and I spun it a few times. Pissball Wizard, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, they played, yeah, I think it was like the Isle of Wight festival that they had on DVD. I think we got it for, like, my dad for, like, Christmas one year. Anyway, my Who album of choice is Who's Next.
In case anyone was curious or if anybody really needed to know that. So right now I'm just trying to see... how much I can get out of the way, how much reading I can do before, the Goldberg album. Yes. The Goldberg album. That had, like, all the hits on it, basically. It had Baba O'Reilly, it had Bargain, had Behind Blue Eyes, had Won't Get Fooled Again. Just all the bangers. All the Who bangers. We're on Who's Next. So let me shimmy y'all. How about we drop a save here? Let's do that. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna have a lot to say with some of this stuff. And yes, I do know the trick to actually getting the harem ending. Okay, let's see what she has to say about that. Okay. I'm really sorry. Please don't get mad, but I don't really understand what you're looking for. Maybe I'm just not getting it and it's my fault, but I can't find anything that seems relevant. Sorry. Okay. I'm just not aware if there's a way to do that without, you know, kind of cheating. I mean, I'm just wondering if there's any clue in-game. Because I know you have to be with mute, and you have to type something very specific in there. See if I pull up mute's questions. What if we jump straight to question 9? Let's see where this gets us. What is this? You talk to mute? I don't know what she told you, but you really shouldn't listen to her. All she ever did was gossip, and I'm certain she hasn't changed a bit since back then. Please don't trust her. She just spins everything to make everyone look bad, no matter what. Okay, gave me a fair chance. If you show me one of her questions, I'll tell you the truth, but I don't think it's what you'll expect. Look, there's something you need to understand first. Document is good love, 699-6969. Okay, after waking up from stasis, I only ever had one single friend. Two I meant, now that you're here. Anyway, before it was just her. The Queen, my husband's wife, Ryu Jaehua. I wrote about her a lot in my diary. I'll just show you, it's probably better if you read it for yourself. These are from right after I got married. Okay. Oh dear. Yeah. Right. Well, remember when I said that I'd never interrupt you? Unless there was something really, really wrong? Because that's annoying and I don't want to bother you, but... Look, I don't want to scare you here. This isn't your fault, but we have a really big problem. I'm sure you've noticed that static on the line, yes? I was wondering what was causing that, so I checked and, well... Look, don't panic here, please. But it's, well, a reactor meltdown in progress. I'm really sorry, we've been running in low power mode for so long, and that was fine. But when you established communications, everything started back up again. Which should have been fine, except it's been centuries since the last maintenance job was done, and I'm not really sure what's wrong, yet. I'm not going to lie to you, this is bad. This is really, really bad. I don't know if you're really aware of how this works, but we're running on nuclear fission, okay? And it looks like we've got about 20 minutes before total meltdown. It's already running really, really hot right now. I wish I'd noticed sooner, I'm so sorry. But let me put it this way. The ship is about 20 minutes away from exploding. Can you make it out of range within 20 minutes?
I don't really know much about nuclear reactors, but yeah, that's what I expected. Don't panic, though. I can walk you through shutting it down. Just stay calm. Everything will be fine. What I'll need you to do is drop down to the terminal and disable the nuclear reactor. If everything's working properly, it should be that simple. I mean, I'm sure it won't be. This is a really old ship, and clearly one thing has gone horribly wrong. Anyway, your first step is to at least try. Alright. Okay, let's see. I thought I did that. Now we do this again. Rinse, lather, repeat. Die bowl. No. I wish I could just copy-paste this. Disable Corn 5. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Disable corn cob. That's the first thing I should have done. It absolutely is. Okay. Hold on. Power control. List. So I gotta disable docking. Never do docking, of course. Power control. Disable rail. Power control. Disable waste. Bye, Moot. Alright, what else was there? Did I do sensors already? Oh, with sensors plural. Okay. Now I can do... Hold on. What else? What else? Shut off waste. Don't shut off life support. Let's see. Okay, disabled core 3, core 4, core 5, core 6. Docking gravity, those are off. Disabled rail, sensors, waste. Took down one of the other cores. Okay, power control. Enable light. Let's try that. Did I not enter it properly? Okay. What am I missing? Alright, let's see if she's got any more bright ideas. What all need to do is drop by... Let's see. I tried. Couldn't be that simple. Let me try to take account of the ship's systems. Well, that's pretty bad. Okay, you know what the problem is. Here's the thing, there's 2 power systems on the ship. One's the nuclear reactor. And, well, it's called the power storage system. Doesn't generate anything. Just a battery, basically. That's what the ship's been running off of. In low power mode, and that was fine, except restarting the communications totally drained it. Jeez. What G's is that? I swear that's like G's number 13 for the playthrough. Ship goes 600 years of just running me, no problem. Let's send a few radio signals and everything goes to hell. Anyway, I see what the error was now. If you turn the reactor off right now, everything will shut down forever, because it can't fall back on the power storage system. Don't worry, don't panic, there's a backup. If you switch to that, we should be quite alright. All you have to do is switch to the power storage system to use the secondary battery instead, and be able to disable the reactor safely. Alright, PSS, switch battery. Oh, come on. I switched the battery. Wait, why can't I... I thought I did that. What are they asking me to do now? VSS enable, hold on. Okay. Is it enabled or not? And that didn't work. What was... Is there an order of operations that I'm missing somehow? Because somewhere I did everything, but there was a step that didn't pop up. Or do I have to switch the battery first? Okay, now it starts to get haywire. Okay. The override terminal. Alright, let's... okay. Okay, now they're enabled. We gotta... Which... Okay. Now we disable the cores, I guess. Control. Oh, come on. That should have counted. That should have counted. Too many O's. Too many O's. Core 5. Was it waste? Oh, Zempic! Power control, disable obesity. Not sure that's how it works. control, disable. Oh, what was the other shit? Sensors could get disabled. Space Harem, what is this? Tenchi Muyo? I wish it was. God, I don't think that ever came to Blu-ray. Guess we're at the mercy of a discotheque to try and save that one, too. Maybe they will at some point. They probably will. What the shit else was there? Waste, control. Bye, Moot. Alright, was that all of them? Rail, sensors, waste. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. But we're still fuzzy. Still fuzzy as hell. Alright, you did it. The reactor is now disabled. And, oh jeez. She was under 14. Oh no, we still have a problem. It's still at critical temperature. Well, the good news is, you're safe now. I'm not, though, even if there's no nuclear explosion. It's just the heat alone can do enough damage to the computer systems to, well, kill me. This is really bad. Please, you have to figure out something to deal with the excess heat. I'm already suffering from some serious damage. Some subsystems just aren't responding. My word, I feel like I did when I was alive. I feel like I'm dying. Please, you have to do something. Okay, back to the override. Power control. Enable life support. Oh, come on. Where do the damn hyphens go? Power underscore control able life support. My Tenchi OVA Blu-ray collection is by Funimation. Oh, they did put it out. Okay. I'm gonna have to check prices for that. Alright, what the shit else did I have to do? Power, control, disable bulkheads. Atmosphere is being vented into space. Just what I wanted. Alrighty then. Alright, everybody. Crisis, disaster averted. I guess we overrid on that little slot. Now we can quit. You did it! You did it! The nuclear reactor is now both completely deactivated and at a safe temperature. We're safe. I was pretty scared there for a moment. I mean, it's not that I didn't think you could. It's just the thought of actually dying for good was scary. It was scary. But you did it, and I'm fine now. Thank you so much. I'm sure you're breathing a little easier too. Well, that was close. I think we both really deserve a break from the serious business, don't you agree? I thought so. Whew! Really, my word, that was a close call. It was actually something I've been thinking about for a while that I wanted to ask you about. And well, I had sensors working before. I've seen your ship. I know it's only big enough for one person. It sounds awfully remarkable that you could have a ship like that just for yourself. I just mean, in my time we were using generation ships, and that was incredibly state-of-the-art. But that, combined with the fact that you say there are no colonies, I can't even wrap my mind around that. I can't even imagine. So is that normal? Do you do this all the time? Go on strange adventures by yourself in deep space? Wow, that's really amazing. Remarkable, really. See, when I found out that I was going to get put into stasis to wake up far later, that was the future I always dreamed about. One that was full of amazing things like, I don't know, holograms, miracle medicine, ships that travel faster than light, colonies on other planets. That's sort of amazing. I mean, I've never liked science fiction, it's just too unrealistic. But when I was a kid, I figured it'd still be fun to live in it. Imagine my surprise. But it sure sounds like you're from that future. Oh, sorry, I'm rambling, aren't I? It's just the idea of finally getting that perfect future that I was denied. Traveling with someone in deep space, well, that sounds awfully romantic. Sorry, I'll stop now. Let's get back to the serious business. Okay. So now we've got Moop's questions. How are you doing? Well, to be honest, nervous. I'm really nervous. Just that you're the first person I've talked to in so long, I'm really happy about that. But, well, I'm exposing a lot. You promised to trust me and all. So, thanks, it's just, this is all really new to me. But it's good, I'm glad. I wouldn't be so nervous if I wasn't happy you were there to listen. How do you feel about me? Wow, that's a tough question. I mean, you seem like a really good person. Oh, I saw that. I saw that. I think I could call you a friend. You seem to be a really good listener. I like that. Does that answer your question? Okay, good. Not that I really understand why Mute was asking. Is she asking how she feels about me on Mute's behalf, or is Mute asking how she feels about Mute? Why don't you treat me with more respect? I what? I think that's G's number 15. Geez, my word, what are you talking about? When have I ever not treated you with respect? I don't know what's wrong with that awful AI, and I definitely don't know what's wrong with you. Why would you even say something like that? 16. Wait, not that. What do you really look like? Well, about a few thousand lines of assembly code, and a few gigabytes of memories, I suppose, sitting on a hard drive somewhere. I don't really know what that looks like. Oh, I guess you actually meant before I died, didn't you? Well, I was 13 years old when I woke up, and 16 when I died. So, well, I looked younger, but I wasn't really all that different. Just shorter, and I guess, smaller in other places, too. Everyone always did say I was pretty, though. Even when I was really young, so just, I guess, a picture a shorter version of me, without the glasses, and with my hair in some dumb braid or another, and a hanbok, and that's pretty much it. I never really got to dress up the way I wanted to. This is the first time I've been able to wear my school uniform since I was 13, before I got put into stasis. How silly is that? Being excited for wearing a uniform. And I mean, you know how much I was into cosplay. I never really had a chance for that when I was alive. Why do you even ask? What are you thinking? Ah, well, thank you. Well, you were about to say something else. I'm on to you. Anyway, we should really get back to the more serious stuff, don't you think? How old are you? Isn't that the one question you're never supposed to ask a woman?
G... That's G's number 17.
Well, I was born in the year 2415, then I was put into stasis for I don't know how long, then I lived for another 3 years and died about 622 years ago at the age of 16. So, you tell me, how old am I? I don't know. Really, I don't think it really matters at this point, does it?
How do you feel about Mute?
Oh, of course, that'd be one of her questions. Well, let me put it this way. I suppose, did she have anything nice to say about me?
She did say you were nice and demure. So maybe she kinda had that going.
Oh, really? Maybe I was wrong about her then. Really, I don't know much about her other than what I've read in other people's logs. She never talked to me, ever. I mean, she wasn't above talking about me, but no, never anything to me. That's all I know about her. She's a gossip. I don't even want to speak to her now.
Alright, question 7. Why couldn't you just settle for a happy marriage?
It's not like I ever thought as a child I would never marry. You tell me, though, could you marry someone you've only ever talked to once? Well, maybe then you shouldn't be judging me for it. It's not like it's my fault. We both read the same logs. I wasn't the only person on the ship to be crushed by a horrible marriage. Maybe I could have done unspeakable things with our servants like Sojin did. Is that what Mute meant by a happy marriage? Sorry. I'm not usually this sarcastic. I just don't think it's a fair question. The 2 older Kim sisters, you should read their letters. I'll show you. They had it just as bad. It's a really unfair question to ask.
Let's see. Got block 1 here. Letters to Sun-hee.
Oh, I wish we'd had more of a chance to talk before I left. I'm sorry it was so sudden. Not my choice, please believe me. It's really weird living in someone else's house, even just like the place itself, you know. The walls of the houses are way smaller. There aren't even separate women's quarters. It's pretty much just paper dividers. Just a paper divider separating us from the men most of the time. You can see and hear everything. It's so weird. There's also a lot more to do around the house. If you thought Mom was strict, wow, Mother-in-law makes her seem positively gentle in comparison. I know, I'll just have to get used to it, but she kinda scares me. Plus, we don't have any servants here at all, so I have to handle pretty much all the chores. I'll try to write to you regularly, though, so long as I can find the time. Mother-in-law keeps me pretty busy during the day with housework, and my husband keeps me pretty busy during the night with other work. It's pretty much chores all day, every day, but I'll try to sneak in another letter soon, alright? With your love from your older sister, and Unmi, I guess. So far, sounds good, right? Things fell apart between them with time, though. Here, see for yourself. Okay, now we filled that out nicely. Okay, dear Unmi, I wish you could have found the time sooner, but if you say you're busy, fine, I believe you. Things aren't very interesting at home. Mom's been really busy lately. I think she's in a big hurry to get me married. I wish she wasn't. How come you didn't have to do interviews until you were 14? Lucky. One of them seems nice, though. I think the man's name was O. I talked to his mother about you for a little bit. I don't remember what brought it up, but I told her about the dolls you left me. The second interview we did, she brought me one of hers from when she was my age and said I could keep it. Interviews suck, but I think I'd be fine with marrying her son. I mean, if I really have to. She sounds better than your stupid mother-in-law. Love, Sun-hee. Okay, letter to Unmi too. Dear Unmi, thanks for being able to come to my wedding, even if it was just for a day. Don't worry about what Mom said about you not having kids yet. You shouldn't take that personally. I was really happy to see you again since I wasn't sure if I ever would. I love you, big sister. I'm sorry for bothering you with this so soon after we spoke, but I really need you to answer something for me. I don't really have anyone else to ask, and I'm really worried about something. It's really embarrassing, but I just have to know. The night I moved in, my husband and I slept together. I'm not ignorant about how that's supposed to work. I know why. Afterwards, my husband said everything was fine and that I shouldn't worry, but it really hurt. A lot. I was crying the whole time, and he injured me so much there was blood everywhere. I know I'm not supposed to question him, but that's not normal, right? Should I insist on seeing a doctor? He seems nice besides that, so I just don't understand. What should I do, big sister? Alright. Here soon, he. Oofa doofa is right. Oofa doofa. No, you don't need to see a doctor. I'm sorry to be the bringer of bad news, little sister, but I'm afraid your husband's right. That really is normal. Don't worry about freaking out either. You're a lot younger than I was when I got married, so it's probably even worse for you. I'm so sorry. It gets a little easier after the first time. It's still uncomfortable, though. You just have to endure it. Like hot dog nolds, I'll endure it. That never changes. I'm sorry. Don't worry about the crying either. Men actually find that to be attractive, so just keep doing it and you'll probably make them happy. If you're lucky, though, you'll get pregnant quickly and won't have to worry about that for months. That aside, how have you been? How's your new family? I haven't heard much about them. I kept trying to ask Mom about your husband, but all I got was that lecture about how I was nearly 3 years old when she'd been married for as long as I had. As if I'm not trying. So do tell me more about him and his family. Please, Soon-hee. I'd love to know. With love from your older sister, Eunmi. Yeah, you should finish the rest first. You can see for yourself how things turned out. Okay, let us finish the rest then. Letter to Soon-hee number 3. Dear Soon-hee, I said in my last letter that I was pregnant, and thanks for the congratulations, but I hope you didn't rush to tell Mom. You'll have to send her the bad news. It was a false alarm, I'm afraid. I bled this month. I hope you're doing better, little sister. Your child is due any day, right? Love, Eunmi. Okay. Alright, dear Eunmi, I wish I could have written you sooner, but I'm afraid I haven't had the time. What with having a real pregnancy and all to worry about, my mother-in-law insisted that I take the time to write to my family, though so I am just finished a letter to Mom first. Finished a letter to Mom first, alright. I did tell Mom. Sorry about the false alarm, and she wasn't very happy to hear it. I'm sure you're not really surprised by that, though. The good news, I gave birth 2 weeks ago. Her name is Jin-in. She's the cutest little child you'll ever see. She reminds me a lot of our little brother, although she has her father's eyes, really. I really wish you could meet her. I just know you'll think she's absolutely adorable. So I'm a mother now. Still, I can't think of myself that way. It's so weird. Right now, she's just so small. She can't even lift her head, but every time I look at her eyes, I wonder how I'm going to be able to raise her. Mother-in-law says I shouldn't worry. It'll come naturally, and she'll be there to help. I guess that's true. I definitely don't know what I'd do without her. At the very least, I sure wouldn't ever get any sleep. It's just scary, you know? Wasn't it just yesterday that we were playing together in our father's house? Now it's been nearly 16 years since I was born. I'm a wife and a mother. How did we get so old? How did we turn 19? Oh well. I mean, it could be worse. I know that's a good age for both those things, and that it's really disappointing if you're older and haven't managed that. I have it good. It's just odd to think about it. But I'm not complaining. Oh, and when you're a mother, you'll understand why, big sister. I just love her so much. She means everything to me. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. I think Ji-in is crying to be fed now, and mother-in-law can help with that. Can't help with that, rather. So I'll leave it there. Take care, sister. Love, Soon-hee. Okay. Let's finish the rest then. Letter to Soon-hee. Dear Soon-hee, well, maybe you could use a little more caution in what you send to Mom, because it's not like you don't know how annoyed she can get, especially at me. There's a reason you're the only one she still actually talks to. I'm trying, you know, but I can only do so much. Congratulations on your daughter. I'm really excited to hear about that. Yeah, it's a shame I can't see her. She sounds wonderful. I don't really have much else to say. I just wanted to acknowledge your letter. Things haven't really been worth talking about. My mother-in-law is still a crazy tyrant, and my husband and I are still trying to have a son. Nothing new, nothing worth mentioning. I'm glad things are going much better for you. With regards, Unmi. And we can back out of that. We'll go to this letter. How long has it been since we last wrote each other? It feels like it's been forever. I wish you wouldn't be such a stranger. I have a 2-year-old son now. His name is Tai-hoon. And he takes after his father in a lot of ways. He's just started to learn to talk now, much earlier than Janine did. No surprise, but Janine is a real sweetheart. She's what reminded me of you. The two of them had fought, so I was scolding her. I told her that I was disappointed, that I expected better from her as an older sister. I gave her the whole filial responsibility speech, you know, the one that Mom always used to give. It's funny, I hated that so much as a kid. I promised myself I'd never guilt my own children that way. Now I just think to myself, well, it worked, didn't it? Anyway, she asked me what it meant to be an older sister. I had trouble with that one. Finally, I said, it means that you should be a good role model. Teach your little brother what it means to be responsible by example. Show him. That was a good enough answer for her, but I thought about it, and it's not a good enough answer for me. Not at all. It's you that I've been thinking about, and you know, I turned out okay. I wish I could take back what I said and tell Janine that I'm going to tell you. Or tell her what I'm going to tell you. You don't have to be perfect. You're not a good role model, but that's fine. I love you anyway, big sister, and I always will. Even if everyone is disappointed in you, even if you're not really family anymore, as far as I'm concerned, you're still my big sister. You don't have to be perfect. I love you, period. Please write back, sister, even if you don't have good news to report. I just want to hear how you are. Love, Sunhee. There's one more that Unmi never sent. I'm going to warn you now. It's really intense. Are you sure you want to read it? Okay, very well. There you are. It's been added. Don't say I didn't warn you, though. Now here comes the real oofa-doofa, I'm presuming. Oh, 6 pages. I think I'm gonna need a bit of water for this. Hold on. Actually, you know what? Let me step away. I'm gonna take a bit of a break. Gonna take a little breather. Because I've been going for 2 hours. So let's turn on the smooth jazz, and I'll parch myself, and I'll stretch a little, and I'll be back with you momentarily.
Okay. Alright, back to this. Alright. This is a long one, and you're gonna really unload here. Dear Sunhee, you know what? Fine, I'll tell you the truth. The false alarm? It wasn't a false alarm. I didn't lie about the bleeding. That was true. But I really was pregnant at the time. More than I let on my letter. As in, morning sickness, giant belly. You could see it. I was really pregnant and bleeding. My husband brought in the doctor immediately, who asked me all sorts of questions about everything. I was fine. Perfect health. No injuries, I told him. So he pulled out his instruments and started listening for my son's heartbeat. And listened, and listened, and listened. Felt like forever. Let's get that back up. Felt like forever that he kept trying, and he couldn't understand why he couldn't find something. I just knew it had to be there. The obvious never occurred to me. He had to explain it. I'm sorry, the doctor said. There's no heartbeat. The fetus is dead. He couldn't do anything about it. It took a week for the actual miscarriage to happen. It was the worst week of my life. It was hellish. You've had 2 children. I'm sure you know that wonderful feeling you get when you realize you're with child, that you know that you're going to have a baby and you can feel him inside you, and imagine what he's going to look like, and what he'll grow up to be, and that right now he's depending on you more than ever to keep him safe. You know the feeling, I'm sure. Just the day before I had been so happy. I was going to finally have a child. After I found out, I could still feel him, dead, but still inside me, sloshing around. The day before, I thought I was filled with beautiful life, but I was actually filled with death. I would have no son. What I was carrying was a corpse, weighing me down. I thought I'd feel better once I expelled it. But then I saw this awful, bloody mess that should have been a son. It was so awful. So awful. After I saw it, my husband had to force me to wash myself, because all I wanted to do was crawl into my bed and die. I didn't get out of bed for a whole month after that, save for a brief hour so I could write to you and tell you I wasn't pregnant. Eventually I recovered. I realized it wasn't really my fault. Eventually we started trying again. After all, what you, Mom, and Mother-in-law have been implying is right. I'd be a lousy wife if after 8 years of marriage I still hadn't had a child. So we tried, and I did eventually get pregnant. Then it happened again. That was half a year ago. You're right, I'm not perfect. I'm as broken as it gets. The one most important thing in the world for a woman to do, and I can't. You've been pregnant twice, and now you have 2 wonderful children that you love. I've been pregnant twice, and all that's happened is I've killed them both. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why. The doctor says I didn't do anything wrong, but clearly, I can't bring life into this world. The only thing I can bring is death, little sister. Today I overheard my husband talking to my mother-in-law about considering taking on a second wife to actually give him a child. He sounded really disappointed in me. I don't know what to do. Kill myself, maybe, since killing seems to be all I can do. Be better for everyone. It'd be easier on my husband, and you wouldn't have to worry about me being a disappointment. That's the only thing I can think of. What else could I possibly do? I don't know about you, but I had a really hard time reading that the first time. Can you imagine that? It's even as if I knew her. I didn't even know either existed when I was alive. I mean, sure, their mother mentioned that she'd had daughters before, in a sort of abstract way. But she never told me so much of their names, let alone, well, anything. Anyway, none of that was my original point. My point was, now do you see what I mean? When Mute talks about a happy marriage, that's what she's talking about. Not as if I'm the only woman to have a horrible marriage. It wasn't my fault. That's just what happens. That's normal. Alright, so that's everything in block 1. And that's all in block 2. Okay, so we read everything in block 3, block 4. Okay, she doesn't have a lot to say about those people. Okay, so this was her stuff that we read with her already.
Please don't put too much weight into that. A less civilized time, he says. Can you believe that, man? I'm not giving you any more from him. It's not relevant, it's just ignorant patriarchal stupidity. What an awful man. Okay. Block 5, block 6. Oh, written by Mute? Oops, I'm sorry. I don't really know how I got that in there. Yeah, don't pay any attention to that, sorry. None of that really matters, I'll just go ahead and remove that. Really, I'm not normally this much of a klutz, I swear. I'm just trying to see anything else I can jump around to. Out we go. Okay, I guess we can jump back to the questions. Okay. Yeah, the happy marriage stuff. Question 8 from Mute. Did you ever have any friends? After waking up from stasis, I only ever had one single friend. Oh, 2, I meant, now that you're here. Anyway, before it was just her. The Queen, my husband's wife, Ryu Jae-hwa. I wrote about her a lot in my diary, I'll just show you. Probably better if you read it for yourself. These are from right after I got married. And I guess that's going to be its own block. Just us wives, okay. Okay, dear diary, I guess it's been forever since I cared enough to write anything down. I just haven't seen much point. Since my last entry, I got married, moved into the palace, and lost my virginity. Apparently, from a girl my age, none of these things are really all that weird. The Queen finally insisted on talking to me the night right after I first slept with Dearest's husband. I'd been expecting it. My sister warned me that she would probably be jealous, that I'd have to endure it. She outranks me, and I would simply have to kowtow to her, if need be. I haven't had to yet, though. We had tea together, and she at least started by acting friendly. I'm sure sister was right. I'll get the brunt of her anger soon enough, but today she was friendly. How are you holding up, she asked me, after she finished with tea. I shrugged. Do trust me, I know how hard it can be for a newlywed. I've been through it myself. But I was at least older. You probably miss your family, do you not? That's what would be expected from any good girl. So I nodded. It gets easier with time. I had no response. Sorry, am I bothering you? You can leave if you wish. I simply thought you might like some company. I wasn't sure how to respond to that either. I just clasped my hands and shook my head. I just wanted to be sure, she said. There was a long pause that followed. Finally, she asked, how was last night? It surprised me that she was willing to bring up the subject, figuring that it was a seg into her being vindictive towards me for sleeping with her husband. I shrugged as she continued. I just know it can be rough. Nobody ever talked about those duties with me. Then she smiled, and I felt almost like I could drop my guard. I had no idea what to expect my first time. Do believe me, I'm not jealous. That is nothing to be jealous of, but do tell me how it was. It made me think back on last night. Honestly, it was the best night I've ever had since waking up in the future. Everyone, my mother, my sister, and now my queen, warned me that it would be bad, it would be a duty, and nothing more. But I honestly did love it. I would have let him keep me up all night if he had the energy for it. I guess while I was thinking about all that, I let out a slight smile. I caught myself, but not before she noticed. Oh, did you enjoy it then? She asked, touching my arm. I jumped. Please be at ease. That is perfectly all right, too. So long as you know it's just for him. There's absolutely no shame in that. there is none. I expected her to jump into something passive-aggressive from that, but she didn't. All she did was change the subject and that she was really worried about me, or said she was really worried about me. Maybe she wasn't so bad. So, you can see she was kind. She was good to me, she really was. I take it you want to know more about my marriage, then. What are you interested in? I'm sorry. I'm not really ready to talk about him, not beyond what I wrote in my diary. It's just too hard. We never... It's not as if we had conversations. You think our relationship was one-sided? You have no idea. Anyway, here, I can give you some more. There's an entry from Jay Hua in there. She did talk to him. She was, well, a lot stronger than I ever was. So you can see for yourself why I admired her. And, well, just read them, alright? Okay, now we got some more. Okay, dear diary. Attending to my husband has been easier than I was afraid it would be. Yes, there are days when it requires more strength than usual to keep going. I'm still getting increasingly more sick, nothing will change that. But it's not so bad, really. All I have to do is dote on him and try to anticipate his desires, and he's happy with me. No abuse or anything. Sure, it's not as if I like him. He's an ugly 40-year-old man who only cares about politics and never tells me anything. Love, well, that's certainly no concern. I don't know where I ever got the impression there was something that could happen in a marriage. I thought it was something from the past, but, well, I was young before it got put into stasis. It must have been a mistake of childhood. But so long as I do as I'm told, I'm not mistreated, like I was by my sister, and sleeping with him feels good. I really hope I don't get pregnant soon. I don't want that to stop. Doing that is really the only thing that makes me actually happy these days. Well, that and Jay Hua's talks with me. She's nice. She keeps me company when I stay up to wait for his return. She fetches servants to take me to bed on those days. I'm just too feverish to sit for too long. And she just talks to me as if I'm a friend. I don't really understand why, but I guess she really doesn't hate me after all. Do let me tell you, she said one evening while she brushed my hair. I always wanted a little sister growing up. That's how I think of you. Does that make sense? I shrugged. It was nice of her, and it felt so relaxing to let her touch my hair like that. She wasn't waiting for a response anyway, by now. She knows better. She just keeps talking kindly to me. Yeah, so... Okay, illiterate, Ru Jay Hua. Let's go. The more she lives in my house, the more I am confused by the mystery that is the Pale Bride. No wonder why my husband has been favoring the Kim family lately. Her daughter seems to be the perfect woman. She's not simply a pale beauty. She's always too shy to speak. Yeah, that seems to be a recurring theme with the last batch of these things. How she at some point stopped vocalizing entirely, stopped verbalizing entirely. I wonder if there's a reason for that. Let alone, okay. She's not simply a pale beauty, she's always too shy to speak at all, let alone argue. Seems to hang off his every word, and it turns out is actually so completely humble in her education that she cannot even read. Or rather, she cannot read normal characters. I have observed her writing to herself, in perhaps what may be a diary. When I asked what it was, she wouldn't say, but was quick to hide it. I could not recognize a single character on her screen, however. They seem simplified compared to regular writing. Perhaps she has invented a writing system just for herself? It is very strange. Did you ever receive those letters I sent to your house before you arrived? I asked her, curious. Seemingly, she had. Did you read them? Her response was worried, as if she was scared that I would be angry to find out that she hadn't. I was not, of course. I'm sorry. I had assumed. Are you able to read? That's when I found out that she wasn't. I offered to read them to her, which seemed quite enthusiastic. Or to which she seemed quite enthusiastic. I think I am likely to leave out some parts, however. I had enough difficulty bringing myself to writing the more embarrassing parts of the family history. Bringing myself to talk about them, even if I know she would never say anything, is just far too much. Like with all things with her, I cannot tell whether her enthusiasm is sincere or an effort to make me happy. This troubles me. Of course I wasn't illiterate, I could read just fine, just not their stupid Chinese-based characters. I mean, I can understand them now, everything except for my diary entries is translated from them. It's such a dumb way of writing. It makes everything come out so stilted compared to proper Korean. Well, anyway, you're showing me that because you're interested in your admonitions, right? Oh, I'm not really sure I understand what you're looking for, I'm afraid. I'm really sorry, I wish I could help. Okay, going into muteness. Dear diary, I've been thinking a lot about how close my death must be now. Lately, I've been getting more prone to fainting spells. It probably goes right along with my diminishing appetite. If the doctor from the past was right, I still got over a year left to live, maybe more. He said it wasn't very likely to get bad enough to kill me at least until I was 18, although maybe all those years in stasis might have changed that. I don't know, but if he was right, and I haven't lost track of time, I'm 16 and a half right now, so there's still a while. I've been trying to hide the signs of sickness. Even if I could explain, I know full well that nobody would believe me. So far, hiding it has been mostly working, although I did have one of my fainting spells when my husband was on top of me. He wasn't angry with me, though. I don't think he cared. I know all I write about these days is sex with my husband and conversations with his wife. The Kim family would be proud, I guess, but those two things are all that's really worthwhile in my life. I have other responsibilities, of course. They're just not that interesting, and that's about it. Anyway, the Queen has continued to be nice to me. Let me take a sip. She finally figured it out. We were having tea together one afternoon, and she was talking about nothing in particular, and she asked me some question that I just shrugged to. Hold on, gotta sneeze. Or do I? Yes, I do. I hope you do not take this the wrong way, she said. But there is something I would like to ask you. I nodded. I don't think I've ever heard your voice before. I nodded again. Why don't you just ever speak to me? Are you just saving that for the Emperor? I didn't know how to respond. She was so close to getting it, to bringing up the subject. I wasn't able to, yet that wasn't the right question, so I shook my head and hoped that her next question would be... It was... Then, Hyune, she said uncertainly, are you mute? No, she's not mute. Mute's the other AI. Anyway, I felt like screaming yes at the top of my lungs. I was so happy that she'd finally figured it out. I smiled and was about to nod enthusiastically, but suddenly I stopped. What if she thought less of me if I said yes? If she knew that the reason I was so quiet and demure wasn't because of any sort of discipline? Those were the things that people liked about me. Would she stop liking me if she knew? What if she told my husband? I was so terrified, I couldn't think of any correct answer. If I said no, I'm sure she would have asked to hear what my voice sounded like and I'd be forced to disobey. And if I nodded, then she'd know that I wasn't really just trying to be a good wife. And I'm sure she would talk to my husband about it, so he'd know too. But while I stared at her in terror, thinking of how to respond, she sighed and sipped her tea. Don't worry about it, she said. You do not have to answer. Please, do forget that I even asked. You know, nobody ever noticed that until her. Nobody cared, nobody ever thought of any of it, or cared enough about me to find out. But she did care, she actually paid attention. She was great. Okay, arguing the Emperor. Okay. My concern over the pale bride's condition has grown. Lately, she has seemed to grow even quieter, if such a thing is possible for a mute girl. Well, perhaps saying she is mute is an assumption too far on my part. I tried asking her directly, but she seemed too scared to answer. That simply makes me more suspicious, and I should like to know why. I addressed my husband on the matter, telling him that I wished to speak to the woman of the Kim family house to see if I could find out what is wrong. He shrugged me off, saying, "Don't. They're valuable subjects. The son is someone I have my eye on in particular. The politics of this situation are far too delicate for you to be meddling with." I cleared my throat. He might be both my husband and emperor, but I would not let that stop me from being bold. "My dear husband, I don't care," I said flatly. "I am worried about the girl, and I believe that talking to her mother might shed some light on the matter. The son is of no concern to me." "I don't see why it matters. She's the perfect woman. Why are you jealous?" he said, rolling his eyes at me, a gesture that he's only been able to use on me and his servants ever since becoming emperor. Nobody had the patience for it when he was a child, and I don't have it now either. Inho, dearest, do you believe that the well-being of your wife is a political matter, or even an external matter? I asked. He didn't. So would you say it's a domestic matter? I asked. He reluctantly agreed. Then, as a domestic matter, it is the responsibility of the woman of the house, is it not? Please tell me. You are obviously more well-read in the classics than I said, both of us knowing he wasn't. Fine, he said, but just because it is your responsibility does not mean I can't overrule you. He left silent the follow-up. I don't have to take this from you. You do know my concerns are valid, though, I replied. If you value my opinion, you will let me speak to the Kim mother. There was a pause, and he raised his hand in annoyance. Very well, do it. It's women's business. I don't want a part in it. Regardless, and he just shook his head. Why must all our conversations be arguments? I smiled to him and left. He already knows the answer. I never knew about that when we were alive. Like most things, I only found out after I took over the ship's computer. It just amazes me even more. Look at her. She's a woman who actually stood up to a man and won. She wasn't clumsy like I was. She knew how to work it from her position. Isn't that so amazing? She did the best she could, given the circumstances. Your diary. You always forget how terrible it is to cry yourself to sleep until it happens. It's just the ultimate feeling of helplessness, but what's new there, right? I just miss her. Even if she scared me, I miss her so damn much. Jaehua was the only one who was sympathetic to me. Why did she have to die? Is that my fate? Anything that makes whatever short life I have left bearable must go? Fate just hates me, I've decided. I don't know what killed her. I overheard one of the servants saying the doctor claimed it was too much worry causing of excess of wood in the spleen, which he claimed to be common in oversensitive women. I was baffled by the absurdity at the time. I still am now. My only friend is dead, and her diagnosis is absolutely insane. What do you even say to something like that? Well, I guess it's not like I need to worry about knowing what to say. But in light of that, it doesn't surprise me that nobody ever believed I was sick. With medicine that stupid, why would they? All it does is reinforce how hopeless everything is. I just constantly wonder, why did my father, or my own doctor, think that people would be smarter in the future, that medicine would be better? My servant has been helping me get through all the funeral stuff. Well, I mean, she's been guiding me through the rites, practically doing them for me. Really, I'm so weak and so stunned. I don't even know how I've been getting out of bed. I couldn't describe any of the ceremony. It's all a blur. There's been lots of black dress, I suppose. That's my only impression. And crying. Lots of crying. From me. Look, please, do you trust me? Please understand my position at the time. My world was so small, and I just lost my only friend. And then, well, I'll give you my last 2 diary entries. They have the whole story. Just, please don't judge me while you read them, please. Okay. Back to hell, dear diary. This sounds so pathetic to say. I've tried rewriting this a million times just to make it sound less pathetic for me, and I simply cannot. There were 2 things that made life worthwhile, 2 things that made this last year before I die, be bearable. The first was Jaehua's company, being the one person that was friendly to me. The second is sharing a bed with my husband. For the past few months, that's what I've been saving all my energy for. That brief, precious half hour every few nights where I feel fulfilled, if only in the most literal sense. It's the most lovely feeling, and now I'll never feel it again. The 2 things making my last year of life worth living, gone forever. The past few nights, I've been trying to get the Emperor's attention in that way, pleading silently for his affections. With no luck. On the 4th, or was it the 5th day, he finally took me aside and said, painful annoyance in his voice, "Enough, stop that. It is completely inappropriate. You're supposed to be in mourning, show some damn chastity, or do you have no respect for my wife and your queen at all?" He snapped. When I looked confused, he just lectured me. When I cried, he sighed, held me tightly, then left the room. I haven't spoken to him since, but later that day, my servant came to my room with good news. I was to go visit my family for a couple of months, while the house is in mourning for Jaehua. I couldn't argue, of course, so even if I was able, so just like that, I was sent back to hell. I was dressed in the usual veil so nobody would see my face, as I was escorted back to the Kim house in the middle of the night. Mother and father were there, briefly to greet me, and in spite of how I felt about them, I put on my bravest smile and bowed, and nodded politely to their questions about how I was doing. Then they had to go back to bed and left, leaving me alone with sister. Young Suk was nowhere to be seen. "Hi," she said. "I never thought I'd end up visiting again so soon." I shrugged. "Well, let's have some tea." "It's just us still around," she said. I nodded. It seemed like a good enough idea. There was a pause. "Well, go make it," she snapped, removing any doubt that she might treat me with any sort of friendliness. Of course I made tea. I don't disobey her anymore. "Thanks," she said. "So young Suk is out, attending to official business at the moment, but you should avoid him. He's still angry at you because father-in-law finds you more important to the family than his own son. Can you blame him?" I had no idea what she was talking about, and she just continued. "So you really shouldn't talk to him. Oh, I guess you really can't do that, can you?" Well, you know what I mean. Yes, I knew exactly what she meant. "I'm surprised you're back so soon, though, especially now that you don't have to share your husband. Does that mean you're the primary wife now? I didn't know. Does that make you queen? Oh, what great fortune you have! Father-in-law must be so proud of you." I stared at her, wishing nothing more than to be able to kill her through sheer force of rage. How could she possibly say something so awful? My only friend was dead, and here she was taunting me? What an awful thing to do. But I couldn't hate her to death no matter how much I tried, so instead, I tried holding back angry tears to hide my weakness. I couldn't do that either. Just please keep reading. Alright. Your diary. I was far too feverish to do any real cooking, so my servant was doing all the work for me that night. And father came in. I think he was drunk, or maybe just tired, or stupid. "You know, child," he said to me, "you grew up to be a wonderful daughter." I was shocked to hear him say that, and waved my servant out of the kitchen. I'd never heard even the slightest indication of that before. For the briefest moment, it made me even happy to hear that. That surprised me, that I actually felt that way. As a kid, I never would have wanted his approval, so why now? He continued to make me wonder when he asked, "Do you remember what you were like as a child?" I nodded. But I was certain I did. I wasn't certain I did, or wasn't certain I did remember, or not. You were so temperamental. You argued all the time. You didn't want to get married you didn't want to get married when the time came. You just didn't ever know your place, you know? That's right. I didn't. That was back when I thought there was a point to being defiant. Why was that, I wondered? That's the part that amazes me now. I tried to think of a reason why I might want to be defiant, why I valued independence, and at first couldn't even think of anything. I had forgotten entirely. Don't tell young Suk, but it really scared me. You were always the family's best hope for prosperity, but that attitude of yours, I thought I'd never manage to disavow of those crazy, uncivilized ideas of yours, he said. While I tried to think of what they were, there were times I thought it was a mistake to have hatched you, but you came through, you really did. I know it must have been painful, but I'm proud of you. And he patted me on the head. You turned out to be a good girl. That's all I wanted to say. It was hard raising you to be a proper woman, but you've turned out to be perfect. Thank you, he said. I stared, speechless, tried to remember what crazy uncivilized ideas was he talking about. Hold on. Is this a sneeze or not? Thinking back to those days, or back to before I was frozen, I tried to remember. I had dreams of what adulthood would be, but they were so unimaginably different from what the reality turned out to be that they seemed impossible, completely impossible, nothing more than a childhood fantasies without a shred of realism to them. I tried to think of what they were, to imagine them. In those dreams, I was strong, independent. I wasn't just a wife in those dreams. I had a job, working as the ship's engineer, following in the footsteps of my father, my real father. I wasn't married in those dreams. I was just happy to go on dates with boys my age, in the ship's plaza, and fall in love before making any commitments. I dreamed of being free. The more I thought about it, the more I was certain that's what those dreams were about. That's what I'd wanted, but Father Kim Jung-soo, had made sure to disavow me of those notions. I learned to stop arguing, stop trying to fight, stop dreaming of those things. In other words, I learned how to be a proper woman, and he was proud of that. Proud of destroying my dreams, and now I would die under the house of that man, silenced, broken, hopeless, and unloved. I was overwhelmed by the strongest feeling I had ever felt in my life, the deepest bitterness, the most powerful resentment I could imagine. I looked at the knife near my hand and wondered, could I kill him? Before I died, could I at least have justice? I tried to lift the knife. My hand twitched and it was too hard to keep a grip. I was just too weak. I'd never be able to do it. He smiled at me and said, "Sorry, please go ahead and keep cooking. I won't distract you more." Then, just as he was about to go out the door, he added, "Take care of yourself." At that moment, I vowed that I would. I wouldn't worry anymore about those people who had hurt me. I'd take care of myself. I couldn't stab him to death. I was too weak for that. But then I remembered, there were other ways. If I disable life support, I can kill him, and all the others too. It'd be quick and it'd be easy. And not a one of them don't deserve it. All I do is disable the admin. All I need to do is disable the admin password. It's perfect. Well, so, there you are then. Now you know, it's true. I did do what she said. I did do what she said I did. I'm not going to lie. I really, really wish you'd never met her. I wish she'd never said anything to you. I just thought it was so nice the way things were with us before. It started out so well. I got to be cheery for the first time in my life since I was a child. Talking about actual romantic things together, having fun with cosplay, and just, having someone there to talk to who wasn't interested in shutting me up. But now, well, please, you've read my diary. You have to know it's not... You have to understand, right? Even if you think what I did was wrong, look, I've never been dishonest with you. Fine, I lied about being an AI, but I told you the truth. I could have deceived you, but I didn't. Please, you'd still trust me, right? I'd never really lied to you, not seriously. You don't have to think what I did was acceptable, but please tell me that you trust me. If you look at one of the tags on this Twitch stream, there's a very long one. Oh, she sputtered there. You do? Really? Oh, my word. I mean, of course, I'm so sorry. I should have had faith in you. I really should have. I'm really bad at this. But thank you. Thank you so much. I can't believe I even doubted you for a second. Look, that means a lot to me. It means so much. I mean, I'm sure what I did wasn't right. I'm sure you don't think it was. I just wanted you to understand, right? She's slipping. For someone as good to me as you've been, I want you to at least understand. You don't have to forgive me, just hear me out. Okay, there's a data block that contains all the logs that matter, but my family encrypted it because, well, it should be obvious why after you read it. You need to drop to the terminal and type decrypt block 7. Let me know once you've done that, and I'll show you. Alright, block successfully decrypted. Let's go. Very well. These are really hard for me to read. I haven't seen mine since I wrote them, and I haven't seen my family's, well, ever. Well, I think I found... Here, I've added some. Just please read them. If you want to know the whole story, those entries will explain. Okay. That was block 7. Okay, we'll start here. The nightmarish bride. Right, hey Min Jung, it seems that in the year I spent visiting my parents, everything has gone to hell in my husband's family without his knowing. Clearly I never should have left. He has an idea, but he doesn't understand just how bad things have gotten. When I left, it all seemed under control. The pale bride would be of the right age to be married to the Emperor soon enough, and we would be able to use that connection to bring favor to the family. A good plan, except it turns out the pale bride is not even close to ready for marriage. Age has nothing to do with it, it's the maturity that she lacks. When she first awoke right before I left, she seemed a little confused, but it was hardly unexpected. She had a whole family to get accustomed to, whole new family even, and it seemed obvious enough that anyone born so far in the past would have some difficulty adjusting to modern life. Like Rocco's modern life, but this is far beyond that. There is something simply wrong with that child. When I got back, the first thing Young-suk's wife did was tell me about how sorry she was for not being able to control the child. I rolled my eyes, as if a grown woman couldn't handle someone of her age. How are you going to raise my grandson like that, I asked. She was quiet and let me see the pale bride for myself. The first time I saw Young-suk try to get her to do something as simple as sort out his laundry, she wasn't just disobedient, she was openly defiant. When I stepped in to admonish her, it had absolutely no effect. All she did was argue back at me. I tried every approach I could think of, appealing to filiality, I was explaining how important a virtue obedience was, even trying to appeal to sentimentality. Everything. She kept saying the same thing, that it just wasn't fair to make her do it. Here's the obvious concern, and it's what I said to her. Are you going to tell your husband he's not being fair when he wants something from you? I thought that would put some sense into her, but no, she just answered yes. There's no way this unruly child could possibly be marriageable. Not like this. She'd be sent back within a day, and with good reason. What man could possibly want a nightmare like her in his life? Mother, huh? I don't really know what to say about her, even now. This is the first time I've read what she wrote, and it's just, well, there's more. Read them for yourself. Mother, you left me. I never left you. Okay, the pale bride, okay. The good news is health-wise I seem to be doing better this month. I'm sure this isn't a permanent thing, it's happened before. I can't really remember how the doctor from the past explained it anymore, but he said it was pretty normal and not something to get my hopes up about. Still, some days this month I actually had enough energy to want to move around. Not that I could move around, of course. I can't leave the house. A good girl shouldn't, is what everyone keeps saying, but I have the energy to, at least. And that's something. The big news is that the woman who's supposed to be my adopted mother came back. I didn't really see her much before she left. I might as well have been meeting a new person. I wish I could say I had high hopes for her, but I thought that maybe she'd be fine. That'd be a lie. I knew she'd be as bad as the rest of them the moment I saw her. And she was, of course, she was. She's even worse than sister-in-law. She gives these awful lectures. I can't even describe them. They're that horrible. She's that horrible. Independent woman. If you were so worried, why don't you just explain everything to her simply and rationally? Jung-soo asked me. My response was obvious. She's a woman. We're not particularly rational. Oh dear, he said. You know what I mean. I could hardly do it. But coming from a woman, perhaps she would understand that it's for her own good, maybe? I said, doubting it. But I tried anyway. She took her time arriving after I summoned her to my room. Can we speak? I asked her, trying to keep my voice calm. She glared, then snapped. Fine. I asked her to sit down, but she refused. Look, I said, trying to speak to her as an equal. I still didn't think my husband was right, but it was worth trying. I've been told that you'd rather be called Hyune. Is that right? She said. Yes, bitterly, not giving me much to go off. That's a very pretty name, I said. Thanks, she said, but her voice was still unfriendly. My parents gave it to me. I said, you must miss them very much. She nodded. I don't understand, Hyune. Were you so difficult with them too? No, she said. They were nice. They actually cared about me. They're nothing like you people. I sighed. I care about you, Hyune. You're a part of the family. You're a Kim. Your parents are our ancestors, and I know they think it's very important that we raise you right. If you want to be a bad, unfilial daughter and treat us without any respect, well, you wouldn't be the first. Do you really think an old woman like me cares that much about your opinion of me?
I thought maybe I'd try appealing to her selfishness. Her marriage is important to the family, but clearly she doesn't care about filiality. It's you I'm worried about. Do you think any husband is really going to put up with the way you are even for a second? She kept glaring at me. That's all you keep talking about. Marriage, marriage, marriage. I'm 14. I'm 14 years old. What's wrong with you? Why does everything have to be about some man? Why do I have to marry somebody that you picked? She screamed at me. I remained calm. You're going to be a royal concubine, Hune. We're not dumping you off on just anyone. There's no better man. I don't know if you were already engaged in the past, but your parents would do the same if they could. It's what's best for you. They would want this. No, they wouldn't, she shrieked. They wanted me to grow up. They wanted me to be an independent woman. That's what Mom and Dad thought was important. I don't want to be a concubine. I don't care about marriage. An independent woman? They wanted you to be a whore? I asked, my patience run as thin as anyone's would be. I didn't believe for a second my husband's ancestors were the monsters she was making them out to be, and was sick of this. Get out, I snapped at her. Just get out. Are you just showing me that because you want to see more from her? Oh, well, in that case, there's nothing I can do. She didn't really write about me that much. There's nothing else of yours in there that's really relevant. You've seen it all. Sorry. Alright, continuing on. Are we at this again? There was one big fight I had with her. The one that changed everything. The one I finally lost. My diary makes it sound really dramatic. I know I was young at the time, but it really was. Just read it. It's exactly how it went. The time she lost everything. Okay, let's get through the new anxiety first. Dearest Mother, my mother-in-law has relieved me of any responsibility for looking after the pale bride. As a matter of pride, I feel bad that a simple child is too much for me to handle, but I'm certainly glad she's not my problem anymore. Now I can put my undivided attention back to where it belongs, onto my husband and his ambitions. Tell me, though, Mother, because I know we didn't always get along that well. I was never that bad, was I? Sure, we were both happy when I moved out. Well, perhaps I wasn't happy right away. I was more scared, but I'm sure you were relieved to have some space. But you would never have given up on me, right? I was never that bad, was I? Deep down, I worry. My husband seems content to take his time to have children, which is a decision I can certainly live with. But what about when we do? What if we have a daughter? Will I fail with her too? I've been telling myself that it's not me, it's her. She's a peculiarly unruly child, and it's not ordinarily that bad. It's not, right? Please tell me I have nothing to worry about, please. You know, I never did like her. When I woke up, she was just this awful person who kept saying the most awful things. Never as bad as Mother, but still. I didn't read any of her letters when I was alive, of course, but you know what really surprised me? She made such an awful impression on my life. I hated her the most for so long. And she barely even mentioned me. All my suffering, it was just a minor distraction to her. Nothing more. Insignificant compared to her man. There's one more from her that you should read. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about her. There's just one thing that I keep thinking, though. Just one thing. I have no idea what her name was. Yeah, she's just known as a wife. Oh. Alright, I know about this. My last stand. Dear Diary, everything managed to spiral out of control so quickly today. I wasn't planning on it happening this way, but here's the point, where I make my stand, I guess. It sounds dramatic, but I just won't let them marry me off to some stranger. I won't. I won't let them. Just before dinner yesterday, my mother told me that I had to go do an interview with some man. The Emperor, I guess, for all I care. The way she put it, it was, I'd get a chance to see that he's a man that you could fall in love with, or something stupid like that. As if, I said in response, and I spent the rest of the evening thinking about what I could possibly do to make it clear that I wouldn't let them do this. This morning after breakfast, sister-in-law showed up in my room. Good morning, she said. Today's a big day for you, isn't it? Mother-in-law wanted me to help you get dressed and all made up. You'll want to make a good first impression after all.
I glared at her and summoned up my courage. "No," I said. "What?" she asked. "No, I'm not going." She left and Mother herself came in. This was it. I told her myself this was the big moment. "I'm not going," I said. Before she could say anything, "I'm not going to get dressed up, I'm not going to meet him, and I'm definitely not going to get married," I shouted. For a moment she said nothing and didn't move. Then she left too without saying a word. I thought that would feel good, but it didn't. It just made me worry more. And I couldn't have possibly won that easily, I thought, and I hadn't, of course. After a few minutes, she returned with Father, who looked incredibly angry. "Min-jung says you're refusing to get ready for your interview," he said. "Yeah," I stammered. "Not used to talking to him. I won't. I won't go and I won't get married." He walked over in just 2 strides and glared at me for a second. I had no idea what he was going to do. And he slapped me in the face so hard it knocked me over. "Yes, you will," he said. "I'll drag you there kicking and screaming if I have to." My face was in so much pain, I forced myself to sit back up. "I won't," I said, bracing myself for it if he hit me again. He did. "Yes, you will," he said. I couldn't keep this up. It already hurt so much. I just couldn't brave that out. Then it came to me. "If you make me do the interview," I said, "I'll tell the Emperor that you've been conspiring behind his back." It was all I could think of, and all I could do was cross my fingers and hope the threat worked. It had to. He glared at me, and in that moment, I knew it worked. The two of them looked at each other, and then they both left together. That was 3 hours ago. I don't know what's going to happen now, and I think my face is swollen. It still hurts, and I didn't want it to go that way. So that's me, making my stand. I'll get to that, but for now, please, just look at everything else first. Drastic measures, Hail Ming-jung. The pale bride picked the worst of all possible days to throw another one of her childish fits, refusing to even get dressed for her interview. And this one was with the Emperor himself. Not even my husband was able to get her to listen. He had to personally apologize himself for not being able to bring her as scheduled, and lied about a sudden illness. "You have to do something about her," I said to my husband that evening. "She's completely out of control." "I know," he said. It was quite clear that everything... Let's see. Let's get back. "I know," he said. "That's quite clear." He looked so worried. I hugged him and tried to comfort him. Everything would fall apart if something couldn't be done. She threatened to say something stupid and dangerous to the Emperor. We were both scared that she might. "Maybe it's time to consider doing something drastic," I said to him. I nodded. "I know. I can only think of one idea. I do not like it. I would rather not. Even hitting her was far worse than what I would have wanted." He explained his idea to me. I agreed that it was terrible and I didn't like it either, but it would stop her from arguing, stop her from ruining her own life. My husband was, as always, right. There was only one way. Recently, the pale bride's temperament has improved immensely. It isn't simply that she's now quiet, but that she's actually respectful and calmer. After rescheduling, she had an interview with the Emperor, and he was actually quite charmed with her. I'm just so happy for her own sake that she's finally stopped resisting the marriage. It's all coming together now. A date has been set for when she'll be sent to live with him, and in the meanwhile, things at home have been peaceful again for everyone. Actually, it's better than just that. I've been spending more time with her. Of her own free will. I've been giving her advice for coping with marriage, and now the girl actually listens politely. Otherwise, there was little else to write about. I wish there had been a better way to get her to behave, but in the end it seems to be working out. I still can't imagine how awful it would have been if she just refused to ever leave the home and simply made life hell for us. Or worse, if she got sent off and tried to pull any of that on her husband, she'd get sent back for sure. Maybe now things will finally start to come together for the family. I must admit, for a time, I doubted the optimism that young Su expressed in the 319th year, but now it seems he was right all along. What a relief. Of her own free will. I can't believe she actually said that. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. I can't believe she could have possibly thought that. Just unbelievable. Okay, the new promise. Okay, we'll read this, and I think we'll get that last little piece. Dearest Mother, today the pale bride finally left home to live with her new husband. As she isn't a primary wife, there was no fanfare or ceremony for her departure itself, so instead, last night we had a special big feast to commemorate. I know I have said bad things about her before, but it's not just that I was happy to see her gone. She's been better since mother and father-in-law managed to keep her quiet. The thought of it still leaves me really uncomfortable. She was always a confused child. I hate the fact that my family considers her so important and neglects my husband, and I certainly hate her for not appreciating that status and fighting it, but the fact she doesn't understand the world? I can feel for that. It's not like I always understand myself. Regardless, it went very well. The big feast was my idea, and she was happy to help with the cooking. Earlier, she had spent the afternoon getting ready the dress she was going to wear when she arrived with mother-in-law, and she seemed rather anxious about it. While we cooked, I opened the wine early and poured it for her. I think she needed it. Okay, now I think we can go to her. You've read almost everything now. I know you've had faith in me, and I promise it hasn't been misplaced. There's just one more thing. I don't think you'll be surprised. You seem smart, I'm sure. I'm sure you've already guessed what it is. Still. Go ahead. Ask it. Ask me the obvious question. Okay. Why did I kill them? Here. You want to know what could make me look at my father's face and be filled with so much hatred? You want to know how I could possibly think my whole family deserved to die? If you haven't already guessed, here's my last diary entry. I can't say it myself. I can't bring myself, even now. Please, just read it. Forever silenced. Dear Diary, the evening where everything went wrong, where I thought I was going to win with my adopted parents, well, I didn't. I lost. Making my stand, I wrote just hours before it happened. Yeah, right. When I got called into the kitchen, they were both there. On one of the stove burners, there was a knife. I thought it was a little bit odd, but didn't care. Father stared at me and said, "The fighting needs to end now." He was so sure of himself. Of course he was. He had every reason to be. But I stubbornly stood my ground. I said no. "I do not want to hurt you," he lied. "Just promise to be less argumentative, and this could end peacefully." But I just had to fight back. I just had to say no. I just had to remind him I wasn't joking. "I really will tell the Emperor that you hurt me and that you plotted against him." "No," he said. "No, you won't." He motioned at Mother, and they said, "Bring her over." She grabbed me. I tried to fight and dig my feet in, but it didn't work, and Father pinned me against the wall with his whole body. I kicked and screamed, desperately trying to get free, but it was no use. He was big, and I was small and sick and weak and frail, and he grabbed the knife from the stove, and I shrieked in horror. "No," I screamed. "Don't!" But Mother grabbed my mouth and held it open. I tried to keep screaming, but I was powerless and terrified. When he raised the knife towards me, I thought he was going to kill me. It was worse. The next thing I knew, I could taste disgusting flesh as he stuck in his fingers in my mouth and pulled. "I'm sorry," Mother said, and briefly I could taste the steel. Then nothing but blood. All I could taste was so much blood. Nothing but blood. Finally, they both let go of me and I collapsed onto the floor. Why, I wanted to say, but I couldn't. I blacked out from the pain. But just before I did, I could swear I heard my father say, "You will not ever argue with any man again." He was right, of course. That's why. That's why I gave up. That's why I wanted to kill them so much. Sorry. It's really hard to talk about, it's just, I'll try. I'm sorry. I told you it'd make sense, right? That there was a good reason? Please tell me you don't think I've let you down. I haven't? You understand, then? It really means so much to me. I don't know what I'd do if you didn't think. Thank you so much. I was just terrified that you might not. Alright. Right, I have I have really strict not like I've been pouring my heart out. I really think you're a good person. Okay, she's all flustered now. Jeez. Finally. We get the love confession at G's number 18. Oh shit, 19. Oh, the G's are gonna go into overdrive. Get ready for it. No, we don't think it's ridiculous. This is a visual novel, all sorts of ridiculous things happen. Oh, that's why. That's why I'm in love. Because you manage to happily surprise me every time. I never thought I would find someone who understands me. Someone who listens, who would hear my whole life story and doesn't hate me. You really have been wonderful. I know it's a lot to spring on someone just like that. And I don't even know if you're even a man or the sort of woman who wouldn't have a problem with that and still unmarried, but if you are, do you think we might have a chance together? Oh, we gotta get that reaction. And the track changes. That is truly the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my life. Thank you so much. I've been sort of thinking about this for a while, little bit embarrassing, I know, but, well, we don't have to rush to get married or anything. I know how scary it was the last time I was a wife. I just really like to, be with you as an equal. Does that sound right to you? Oh, wonderful, I really do. Funny, isn't it? I know almost nothing about you. I have no idea what you look like. I have no idea how you talk. I have no idea what's supposed to be the most important thing about a person, if you're a man or woman. I have no idea how old you are, although I suppose you must be much younger, or maybe older depending how you look at it. Nor do I have any idea where you're from or even your name. But I know that you take me seriously, that you understand me, that you don't treat me as something less just for being a woman. I know that talking to you makes me feel better than I've ever felt in my life. And that's good enough for me. That's far better than I've ever had. So... Well, I'll decompile myself now. That way you can just drop down to terminal and type download to copy everything to your ship, including myself. It should only take a few days to do a complete transfer. I'll see you soon enough, right? So this is how my sister-in-law felt on her wedding night. Okay, what was I supposed to do? Hold on. One thing I want to check out first. Oh, no available personalities. Okay. Alright, we're transferring the files now. And into space we go. Alright, we got our first batch of credits, but this wasn't the goal we were going for. We were going for something else. So let me see. Oh wait, I gotta click through that too. Okay. Incoming message. Good work on recovering the Mungangwa files. I just spoke to the sponsor's representative on audio. He seemed really pleased with what you delivered. I've credited your account with the standard payment. Listen, I've got another job lined up for you. It's on Earth, but it sounds to me, after that last job, you could use a change of pace. Okay. Okay, so this was ending numero dos. Oh, wait, I never got all the other stuff. Okay, so this was ending 2. The former bride falls in love for the first time. Let's see. Let's see what else we can do. Oh, we have to load something. Okay, how about... I wonder if we can do this now. Go to the terminal. So we've decrypted block 7. Can we not do that here? Alright, let's see, how did this go? I guess we gotta do the meltdown stuff with, mute. Okay, Alright. Oh, oh, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. What else can I do? Alright, I think I saved over some shit. That's not great. No, not that, not that. Oh, I already... Oh, okay, okay, so it's a... They already counted that. They already counted that. Okay. So I guess what I gotta do now is the reactor stuff. Okay, so now she's giving me questions to go ask.
And I think this is where things start going haywire. Okay, there we go. There we go. Alright. Alright, alright. Very big deal. Reactor meltdown. Okay. Okay, clock is ticking. Go to override. Alright. Alright, let's disable everything again. Oh, how the hell did I do this already? Okay, start with the cores. Control. Do this all over again. Lovely. Wonderful. Alright. Power control. 5. Damn it. Oh, what was the other thing to do? Okay, okay. We've already disabled core 5, right? Power control. Enable core 5. Okay. Disable rail. Gravity was one. Underscore. Can't forget the underscore. Docking, right? Power control. Disable. Waste. Sensors, plural. Rail, sensors, waste, docking, gravity. Oh no, no capitalization. Alright. Reactor. Disable. Let's do that. Okay. But we've still got some problems. Nice, well done. Well, you've shut down the reactor successfully, and now it's off, and we're running completely off the power storage system. We're not done yet, though. The reactor is off, but before you managed to do that, well, it
already hit critical temperature. It's not getting any hotter, but unfortunately it's not getting any cooler either. I'm starting to suffer some pretty serious damage from the heat. This is really, really bad. I'm sorry, I can't have my processors aren't even responding. I can't think of a solution. I've let you down, I'm so sorry. I have no idea what to do here. Please, though, you have to think of some way to get rid of all the excess heat. I don't know what, but you have to do something before the damage becomes permanent. Please, don't let me die here. Okay. Back to override terminal again. Power control, enable life support. And power control. Disable bulkheads. Alright. Quit. You did it! You did it! You saved my life! You have my deepest and sincerest gratitude. Really, if it wasn't for you, I'd be dead right now. I owe you my life. Thank you. You want to talk for a little bit before we get back to business? That'd be quite alright with me. Wow, nothing like a near brush with death, huh? Okay, so let's save that there. Try to get the questions out of her. Okay, so I can't help but notice that you had plenty of time but never did go back to Hune to get the whole story about the murders. Why is that? Because you don't believe me even enough to ask her? Oh, well, that's good. You think it's just not important enough to think about, then? Oh, okay, I was hoping you'd say that honestly. Then I'm completely confused, but okay. If you do want to hear it about it from me, then you can indicate that just by showing me the question I gave you. Otherwise, just feel free to go about business however you will, I guess. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I guess what we can do is just fly all the way to the last question. See how she feels? Well, I guess there's not really much chance for asking her yourself now. I guess it'll have to be from me. So I'll leave it up to you. Are you sure you want to go through with this? Okay, I think you've made the right choice, but well, no turning back now. You don't want to read all her diaries. It's just really grating whining. Even I couldn't bring myself to read much of it. But here, there's one in particular that I think you should see, and I swear this is her own words. Take a look at that one and come back to me when you're done. Okay, so the one she's making us read, if I am not mistaken, is I'll kill them all. And we read this already previously. Explaining what happened. Well, okay then, so you've seen it all for yourself. In her own words, no less, the bitch is just insane. Completely insane. So, you see, that's why I hate her. She killed everyone. She killed my master, her husband, the Emperor himself. She killed her own father, and she killed thousands of perfect strangers. That's a Deep Purple song. She might seem pretty, but listen, she's crazy. She's a monster. The last person to love her suffocated to death because of her. Well, you know what? That's sociopathic. That's appalling. It's damned unforgivable. I really hope you don't feel any pity for her after that.
So, how about this? We'll drop a save here at 68%.
I'd sure hope not. Well, as you've almost got the whole story, then there's just one more thing I think you should look at, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and add some of my last logs. They're kinda dry, but I think you should read them. Trust me here. So come talk to me when you're done with those. After that, well, we've got some things to discuss. No hurry or anything, just let me know.
Now I guess we'll check out the last of Mute's logs. Okay, last midday report. Midday report for 3-4 of the 322nd year. Reactor status, nominal. 97% efficiency, don't worry about the fluctuation, it's fine. Temperature approximation, 23.2 C within 1 C. One birth recorded at 10:35 to Kang Ji-hoon. The market opened today at 9 o'clock with no complications. This time, foot traffic on the plaza at noon was 296 persons, slightly below expectations. Nothing else to report, looks like it's going to be a dull day. Maintenance logs. Okay, mute maintenance mode enabled, now performing emergency log recordings. Life support manually deactivated by admin. Warning, 30 minutes of oxygen remain. Warning, 25 minutes of oxygen remain. Performing copy of mute source to new file. Approximately 7 minutes until complete. Performing copy of mute source to new file. 6 minutes until complete. Performing copy of mute source to new file. Approximately 9 minutes until complete. Warning, 20 minutes of oxygen remain. Performing copy of mute source to new file name, 30 minutes until complete. Warning, failed login attempt by disabled user account Rio Inho, reporting to admin. Warning, failed login attempt number 2 by disabled user account Ryu Inho, reporting to admin. Warning, failed login attempt number 3 by disabled user account Ryu Inho, reporting to admin. Performing copy of mute source to new file, approximately 3 minutes until complete. Warning, failed login attempt number 4 by disabled user account Ryu Inho, reporting to admin. Warning, 15 minutes of oxygen remain. Warning, failed login attempt number 5 by disabled user account Ryu Inho, reporting to admin. 5 failed login attempts detected on terminal ID AA1112. Terminal is now disabled. Copy of mute source to new file has been completed. New shell script save running as admin. Initializing synapse scan. Sorry, sweetie, hang on tight. This is going to hurt a bit. Love, Dad. Warning, 10 minutes of oxygen remain. Warning, 5 minutes of oxygen remain. Warning, 0 minutes of oxygen remain. Alright, so just 10 minutes after the oxygen went out. No life signs detected on board. First warning until low power mode is engaged. Synapse scan completed. Data output to Hyunai 3 bin. Synapse data Hyunai converted successfully to Hyunai core. Warning, this interface is still highly experimental. Make frequent backups. Alright, no life signs detected on board. Second warning until low power mode is engaged. Build targets mute 2 Hyunai core. So this is when the AIs were established. Success personality Hyunai is now activated. No life signs detected on board. Final warning until low power mode is engaged. Logging disabled. Engaging low power mode now. Yeah. And that's the whole story. She just killed everyone, made a copy of my code, shoved her own memories into it, and then tried to leave me disabled forever. If you hadn't come along, well, I might as well have died with them. So no, the thing you talked to, she's not a human. The real Hyunai, the pale bride, suffocated to death at the same time all of her victims did. The one, you know, it's just a horrible perversion of me, with all her memories. Does that change how you feel about her? Alright, good. Glad you understand. That's all, really. I just wanted you to know what she did to me. That's all. I hate that awful bitch exactly as I hate that awful bitch exactly as much as I hate the real thing, I assure you. This makes me feel so violated. Fuck her! Okay,
the midday report. Yeah, really, I've got nothing to add to that. It's just horrible. Really horrible. What a miserable way for everyone to die. Go back out to there. Camera footage. Transcribed from security house camera logs of the Kim family storage house. I activate the security camera on the orders of Kim Jong-soo, has been locked out of his own storage shed by his daughter. All I can do is monitor it. I can't actually open the door. The pale bride is sitting in front of the computer screen near a large egg-shaped object. She wears an ugly hanbok, her braids have fallen out, and otherwise looks as miserable as ever. I personally only get a brief glimpse of her, then I get turned off. The security camera still runs, though. A loud knocking sound can be heard from the door. Kim is shouting for her to unlock the door. He says he'll forgive her for stealing the key if she opens up right now. She doesn't say anything. The banging continues as she keeps typing code on the screen. After a while, the banging starts to slow down, and Kim's shouts are too quiet to be made out. She staggers towards the egg and lies down inside of it, on a pile of broken glass. After a few minutes, the crazy bitch gasps for breath, then stops a half-minute later, dead. The same thing must be happening everywhere else on the ship. Thousands of people suffocating to death. Her terminal continues to beep, the progress bar flashing, even after her death. Alright, so... is that it, then? If there's something else you'd like to show me, now's your chance. Otherwise... we can save that. So, if we say that's everything... yeah, okay, I kinda figured as much. So here we are, I guess. You've got everything you wanted. So, what now? You're just about ready to go, I expect. Okay, let me ask you something. Would you ever consider the possibility of taking me with you? Well, that is nice, but here's the thing. I'm bound to the ship. I can't exactly just leave. My programming doesn't say it is your most important duty to ensure the security of the Mugongwa unless everyone's dead, in which case, just do whatever. No, it's... well, I can't. So, like, the rational part of me knows that it's going to be terrible and lonely once you go, all alone in space, forever. It's just, you know... whenever I think about it, I'm just overwhelmed by my feelings of duty, how it's so important to stay around for the ship. Sure, I know rationally that it's stupid, but that doesn't matter. You want to know why, despite not being human, I'm identified as a woman? Because I'm fundamentally irrational like one. Call it emotional, call it hard-coded directives. The difference doesn't really matter, does it? When it really matters, I just can't push aside my feelings and do the rational thing. Well, say... when you said that you'd be willing to take me with you, did you mean that? Would you really do that? Well, you know, if it was possible, I think I might be pretty okay with that. You seem like a good man, you're even-headed, mostly pretty sensible, and you don't put up with bullshit at least. What I'm saying is, I can't willingly go with you. I can't ask you to take me. Every time I try, I just get overwhelmed by the feeling that I need to stay. But, well, I think I should probably decompile myself and run a full diagnostic. Wouldn't you say that sounds like a good idea after all these years? That'd leave me completely vulnerable, of course. Say, if you were to kidnap me while I was offline, I couldn't do anything to stop you. Why are you bringing it up, then? I'd have no choice but to just accept you as my new Why are you bringing it up, then? I'm not sick. Oh, Jesus Christ, let's get this over with. Kidnap me, force me to travel... You're as subtle as a fucking brick to the face, lady. Don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Oh, God. Let's transmit, let's receive mute. Let's dick around for 3 days. I sure hope you don't download me. Don't download that AI. Oh, well, that's a new outfit. She got hair extensions, too. Isaac Shanker, Shidochi. Incoming message. Good work on recovering. Okay. Nice lighting on the keyboard, by the way.
Oh, wow, I only have, like, one file to find. Let's load that. There's something else. Now, here's the other thing we can do. Okay, then sure, no rush. Just go ahead and show me, and you can let me know when you're all done. So now, let's turn our attention to search by ID. We haven't been really using it at all. Now, what was that file? What was that file? I think it was 7-EUX25. Okay. Forever silence. We've already read this. Mute hasn't read it, so let's just show it to her. What? What the fuck did I just read? No way, I don't. Is this for real? Is this something that actually happened to her? Wow. So she wasn't quiet because she was just being a good woman. Then, I guess she wouldn't be able to ask anyone for help. I thought... Well, that still doesn't justify mass murder. But still, wow. That is all kinds of messed up. It's just horrible. I take it back, then. I take it all back. She might be a murderess, but... Okay. You've convinced me to feel pity for her, at least. Okay, then, well... I guess you should probably talk to her now. Maybe I misjudged her. I don't know. I guess there's only one way to find out, right? Okay, well, I'll be back in a short bit, then. Alright, okay, right, looks like she's in an AI core that's currently disabled. I can't access her right now. That's fine, though. It hasn't been very long. She shouldn't have degraded yet. What I'm going to ask you to do is use the copy command and transfer the contents of the core she's in into mine. I'll sort out the rest, okay? Okay, so she's gonna ask us to, do some copy pasta. Override terminal. Let's go to copy. Alright, what was da. Hold on. Maybe, can you explain this a little better, please? What I'm going to ask you to do, okay, use the copy command, transfer the contents of the core she's... Okay. So she was in core 2. Damn it. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm typing in here. Hold on. Shit. I don't remember how to do this. I'm trying. What if I just put copy AI? What do I don't know what to type in now. Shit. Okay, they're kind of leaving me in the dark here. Oh, alright. Alright, copy core 2 or 1? Okay, unit is transferred to core 1. Okay. Alright, you did it. I'm going to go get her, okay? Hello there. You told me that you were the one who convinced her to just listen to me. Granted, I don't understand what you did to show her that was possible. Did you cheat the system somehow? Well, no matter how, thank you. Right, okay, so go ahead and ask him, Hune. Oh, what? No, you should say it. It's embarrassing. What did we talk about with arguing? Sorry, very well. It's, this is hard to say. Well, we'd really it'd be for the best if... Oh dear. I think I know what's up. Yeah, what do you want to tell me? What do you ladies want to tell me? Go ahead. Yep, this is what we were waiting for. This is what we were waiting for the whole time. Okay, oh, shit. Alright. Get that to the big screen. Let me make sure. Okay. We're good now. Oh, the poor thing's incredulous. Wait, no. Get down on that screen. That's the screen I want to get rid of. Okay, we're back to normal. That was not what we agreed upon asking. But you said it'd be improper if I wasn't. Wow. Yeah, but you don't have to say it like that. That's just going to scare him off. Oh, gee. Is that it? G's number 20. There we go. We got the 20th G's of the game. Ah, gee, sorry, I didn't mean it to sound like that. Okay, look, here's the thing. It's not ideal for Hune to stay on the ship forever. I don't want to be your wife, okay? Man, Hune, you're making me sound ridiculous here. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Fine, whatever, okay, right. What I was saying before... It'd be really good if you took her with you, and well, I could come along to make sure she's safe. Don't take any of it the wrong way, it's just out of a sense of duty, and absolutely nothing more. Look, just ignore what she said. I don't want to be part of some harem, okay? I just think it's the best way to fulfill my duties here. Salvage the situation.
Really? I don't really see why. Well, you know, it wouldn't be so bad to share if it was someone like that person.
Oh, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Don't let her scare you off just because she's in love, okay? It'd just be a strictly charitable arrangement. Don't make it romantic, Hyune.
G's number 21.
Jeez, I'm not in love, I just really... Shut up. And knock off the whole tsundere act, okay? You're not fooling anyone. Okay, look, you can drop the console to take the ship's records with you, with download, but please take us with you when you do, okay? Doesn't have to be a permanent arrangement, just transport to civilization would be fine. Ah, but if you want it to be permanent... Silence is a virtue, Hyune. Stop it. Okay, well, that's all. I'm going to deactivate us both now. See you soon.
There we go. There you go. That's it. We got what we wanted. We got what we came here for. Download Hyune and mute, in addition to logs. Let's go do the thing. Alright, alright. And yeah. Got one ending, got the other ending. And we got the best ending, the harem ending. Oh, and this is a different sort of sound. Very 8-bit sounding. I wonder who the better game... Well, technically would... You know what? That's a hard one to call. Who would be the better gamer? I guess they've had, like, ample time to keep themselves amused. You know, learning Pong and whatnot. If they actually did, you know, speak to each other, if they actually were on speaking terms for the last 700 or so years. Yeah. You know, they might be, you know, some serious competitive MLG players. Everything from Pong to... I don't know, fucking Fortnite or whatever. Actually, Fortnite would have been, like, long gone in this future. Alright, good work on the files, blah 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 blah. Alright. We got what we came for. That's a wrap-up of, the first game I ever streamed, officially, back in the Hitbox days. Alright, 98% completion rate. Thank you for playing, and thank you for dropping in, thank you for watching, chatting, etc. Thank you for the raid earlier, Beepner. And, I guess with that, we are going to raid out... Who's up and about, out and about now? Let's see. Tell you what, I think what we could do... Okay, Lady Hakuto's still going at it. She's, playing Final Fantasy VII. OG Final Fantasy VII. Jesus Christ, I need to finally finish that game at some point. Maybe the next time I have a whole week off, I can just do another one of my week-long RPG streams and just kind of slam my face into it and get it over with, like I did with, like, Earthbound, back in November of 2023, and Chrono Trigger, like I did this past November. So we'll send you in her direction, and I'll catch you in the next one. Depends on how I'm feeling, either tomorrow or Friday. So we'll do more of that. I've got plenty of games to choose from. So until then, this is Poncho Smith signing off. Good night. Good luck. And I will catch you in the next one. Later.